Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
All right. I suppose now we got to go this way. We got to keep digging away at this as badly as we want to give up. We just got to keep going. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Hope everyone's hanging in there. By God. Cubby?
Yes, sir.
Is school out?
Yes, technically it's out.
The teenage kids are on the loose again?
We had a big party last night for my son and a bunch of his friends. They all came over for a barbecue and whatnot, a Dairy Queen trip, that kind of stuff.
Sweet.
Today technically is the last day of school, but it was a field trip, and most of the kids decided we don't want to go to the water park. Just wanted to do their own thing.
That's sweet, though. What? I loved those days.
I would have killed to go to the water park back in the day.
Well, they figured there's probably a better day than the one where every school in the entire city is going to the same water park.
Oh, that's a very, very good point. We did Valley Fair.
Nice.
That was in the 8th grade.
Very cool.
That was such an awesome day. Some kids got busted smoking weed.
Some kids
It actually wasn't me.
And you said this was 8th grade?
Yeah.
Yeah, we always made a trip over there to Shakopee for Valley Fair at the ass end of school. So, Cubby,
cool.
your son, more importantly, my godson, he and his bros are so cool, they just skipped the end of year school, how do you call it, field trip.
They one of the guys has a pool, and so they're going to have their own pool party today.
Heck yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. So today's the final, at least in your neighborhood.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a real day at school, at least there. It's just a lot of kids are deciding not to go for one reason or other. Plus, it saves us some cash, right? We didn't have to spend the money on it.
Ah, nice.
And the teachers probably don't mind less kids had to look after at a water park.
I don't think the kids would know one, or the teachers know one way or the other. They're probably smoking weed someplace.
Probably.
I'm actually glad you're here, Dana.
Why's that?
I figured you'd still be in line for your Nintendo Switch 2.
Oh, yeah. If you want to give me $500, I would definitely go get in line
Whoa.
right now.
Holy cow. That's ridiculous, dude.
My wife was telling me she was checking Facebook last night, and there were lines at the Best Buy by our house.
Yep.
I thought it maybe came out tomorrow, but it
came out at midnight last night.
Yeah, midnight this morning.
A lot of stores like Target and Best Buy did big midnight release parties, things like that. So people are lined up and hoping for the best because there's definitely going to be a shortage of those things.
I think you'll get one, Dana.
Oh, I'll definitely.
Somebody will get their hands on one for you.
I'll get one eventually. I'm not too concerned. But no, I didn't go. Didn't go wait in line.
Did you guys see any of the lines? I didn't look at the picture. She was just telling me she saw.
I'm completely unaware of this.
I didn't check it out.
I saw some photos online of people waiting in line all day.
The latest Nintendo game?
Yeah, latest Nintendo system console.
Okay, it's ready to roll, huh?
Yep.
No, I didn't hear the buzz on this.
It's been pretty big news for quite a few different reasons. But so 8 years, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then the cost. People were a little shocked how much it cost, and then you throw in tariffs there, and they could raise the price possibly on some of these. Very difficult to get, like a lot of the console releases.
Yeah, there's nothing new for a console release that has shortages. It's not like this is something that has happened before. It happens every time.
All right, well, good luck.
I could tell that was very sincere.
Good luck to the near 40-year-old man on getting his hands on.
Well, I told you when the PlayStation 5, is that where we're at?
Yeah.
When that came out, a buddy of mine, he's a carpenter, and one of the guys that works for him had just disappeared in the middle of the day, and he called and asked him, well, what's going on? Where are you? And the dude's like, oh, yeah, I'm in line for a PlayStation 5. He's like, well, you got to be at work. Like, he didn't say anything about this. Guys, and the kid, he was a kid who was probably, I don't know, mid-20s, didn't understand why his boss, because he's telling him, like, hey, wait, if I'm not in line here, I'm not going to get a PS5, and I don't know when I'll get one.
I told you.
What do you not understand?
Yeah, they were at odds, not understanding each other whatsoever. They didn't get the other person's mindset.
You need to be at work. And the young kid said, well, yeah, but I told you, it's a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's not like he told the boss, listen, I know you're probably going to be pissed at me. I got to go. I got to go get in line.
He just disappeared.
He went to lunch, and then he got in line for the release the next day, and that was that.
So the new Nintendo video game system is ready to cause riots from town to town. Super Luber Jesus said he pre-ordered his, what's the system called again?
The Nintendo Switch 2.
He pre-ordered it. Did you know that was an option?
Oh, yeah, but the pre-orders sold out immediately. And you had to be up at midnight when the pre-orders went on sale about 3 weeks ago.
Now, Josh, here you are, as we were just talking about, with a young kid who's ready to cut loose from school for the summer. And also, the new Nintendo Switch is for sale. Is the pressure on you to produce?
No offense, Dana, but like he and his friends, they're not Nintendo guys. They're more into like all the sports games and stuff like that on an Xbox or a PlayStation. That's kind of what they're into.
All right. Thank God, huh? You're talking $500.
Well, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, it gets very expensive.
What was the original Switch?
$300.
$300? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was doable. That didn't make me too mad.
Aren't they usually Nintendo products less expensive, meaning the consoles less expensive?
Typically, yes, they are. This one, a little bit more. I mean, you can get a bare bones system for $450, but the $500 one is the bundle that comes with Mario Kart.
That's what everyone's going to get.
That's what
you
everybody
need
wants.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's crazy money.
It is, but when you think about the amount of hours you spend with it, like the amount of hours I spent with my original Switch, if you break it down per, dollar per minute, it's a pretty good value in the long run.
Oh, that's
with how much use you get out of it.
I like that, Dana.
But
you
then
might
how
just
much-
convince me to buy one.
But then how much does an individual game cost you?
Between $70 and $80.
Gosh, and those are never on sale. Well, the crappy ones are, but
So
the good games that everybody wants are never on sale.
Did you consider that when you did that arithmetic in your head about how, okay, now I've got the system and $1 per minute, but then you got to consider that every game is $70 to $80, and you're probably going to want to get your hands on, 10, 12 of those. Whatever. Everything's friggin' expensive.
That is crazy.
If you love to do it, it doesn't bother you. Mm-hmm. Right? If you love to do it, it doesn't bother you.
If it brings you joy, go for it.
Is there any place you can rent games anymore, or is it just like a subscription service to an Xbox Live?
Yeah, I think it's just subscription. There used to be a place called GameFly. I don't know if that exists anymore.
Oh, GameFly. I miss being able to rent video games. I loved going to Hollywood Videos.
Well, that was the best.
Getting those video games for, I don't know, it would be like a weekend.
Now, I remember renting video games in the early days of the original Nintendo. I had the cops on me.
Uh-oh.
I had the cops on my ass because I rented a video game from a supermarket, and I never brought it back.
Do you remember what game it was?
Yes. Little League Baseball.
That's a good one.
I was hooked like a junkie on Little League Baseball, and the supermarket that I rented the game from kept calling me and calling me and calling me, and I either just didn't answer the phone, or if I said hello and they said, hello, this is the supermarket, I would just hang up. I just thought, F these people, I'm going to get away with this. Next thing you know, the cops contacted me and said, you need to bring this damn...
That is crazy. The cops will get involved over that, especially back then. The games weren't worth very much.
It was 1980, whatever. So here's the balls I had on me. Once the cops called me, I got it in my head, paranoia, that when I physically brought this game back to the supermarket after keeping it for 5-6 months, and I was supposed to only have it for 2 days or whatever. I really thought when I walked in with that game in hand to return it, they were going to cuff me and apprehend me and take me to jail. So I walked into the supermarket, I threw the game, and I ran.
I probably would have done the same thing, Nick. It's all right.
I wonder what percentage of items that are rented come back. Well, Dana, you worked at a Blockbuster.
I did, yeah.
They must have had a line item in there like, well, we know for every 10 we rent, we're only going to get 9 back or something.
Yeah, and also we had people's cards on file, so they ended up not. If it was, I think it was after 30 or 60 days, they would just get charged for it.
And it was outrageous, wasn't it?
Oh yes,
You're essentially buying half the movie.
you could have basically paid for the half the budget of the movie to be made with how much they charge you for an American Pie 2 DVD.
This person says some of the local channels went and interviewed people in line for the Nintendo Switch 2. I thought about going and asking those people, when's the last time or have you ever been laid?
Oh.
Some of them were definitely adults. Do they have rules on this, Dana, where you can only buy a certain amount? So
I'm sure it's one per customer, yeah. But, those scalpers, they find a way to get their greedy hands on them, and they'll be on eBay today for $1,000.
651-989-9393 if you have any takes on the release of the Nintendo Switch Part 2. Now, here's a text that says simply, just wait until Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out.
We've been waiting.
That's gonna be insane.
They just pushed it back again. Yeah.
I wasn't even married the first time the last Grand Theft Auto came out.
That's so stupid.
That's how long it's been since they've gotten a new Grand Theft Auto.
Oh,
That's going to be absolutely crazy, though. I'm so excited for that.
I'm sure you're right.
People would be taking a week off from work for
100%.
Okay, this is something that's a long time in the making.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wait, when did they push it back to?
I thought they pushed it back to next year.
Yep, it's next year.
Gosh darn it.
Maybe
it would've
next
been
May.
So cool if it was released the same
You
time.
guys are still-
I was taking maternity leave.
You're really into the whole Grand Theft. I gave up on it years ago.
I've never really got into it.
I absolutely love it. I could play it every day.
It got too difficult. Like a lot of video games, for me personally, they get too difficult and too detailed, and then it loses me. But so I'm guessing this text means when the person says just wait until Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, they mean if you think there's a lot of hype around this Nintendo Switch, just wait until. So are you guys anticipating just dead bodies in the streets as people are fighting to the death for Grand Theft Auto 6?
You know how those stats when like March Madness comes around, they say like, oh, they've lost $9 billion in productivity. Mm-hmm. It's going to be something like that because I definitely know people who plan on just taking a week vacation just to play the game from their jobs.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They're really into it.
That's extreme. Okay, yeah, the last Grand Theft Auto was made in 2013, so that's over 10 years ago. No kidding.
I didn't realize it's been that long. I know it's been a long time, but wow.
Long time.
Here's a person that doesn't care about the new Grand Theft Auto 6. He just put in quotes, jerking off motion with hand.
Yeah.
I like other people's excitement for things. It's not really something I get too excited about, but some of the pandemonium surrounding these releases is
I don't
crazy.
know. I don't know Dick Tracy about this kind of thing, but I've learned to accept that it's an all ages thing.
Oh, it absolutely is.
10 years ago or so, I would have been that guy doing the jerking off motion with my hand over any conversation about video games out of the mouths of grown people. I used to be that guy, too, until I realized, it's not just for kids, and adults shouldn't be judged anymore for their passion for video games.
Yeah, if it makes you happy, who cares?
They can be a lot of fun. Call me.
This makes me happy. A buddy of mine just texted me a picture of a vehicle. He took this picture yesterday. It has a big, big sticker on the back windshield that says, this was in Cottage Grove, he saw this. It's a Tahoe. If I wanted a Hummer, I'd call your mom. And you got to see this thing. It's gigantic.
I mean,
on the back of a Chevy Tahoe.
I've seen that bumper sticker.
Oh, you've seen it before?
Yeah.
This is more than a bumper sticker. This looks like they're advertising a business of moms giving Hummers.
Not shy about his clever bumper sticker.
Look at the size of that thing, Ashley. Can you see that?
Oh my gosh, it's like his whole back window.
But it's okay. It's a Tahoe. if I wanted a Hummer, I'd call your mom.
Yeah.
I've seen that one before.
That's
maybe
funny.
not as large as this man is. Hey, back to school, and I don't mean it. I wasn't trying to be cute there. School is out today, or yesterday, or next week. I mean, depending on where the hell you're at. School is about to cut loose everywheres. 4% of adults admit to frequently cheating on tests and such in high school. Now, I never did, and I'll tell you why. You usually need a partner in crime for cheating on tests, someone who knew the correct answers ahead of time or knows the correct answers ahead of time. Nobody I hung out with studied, so we weren't able to help each other cheat on tests.
Tests were the only thing I was good at, so.
Really?
You were
Yeah.
good at all that stuff because you studied, or you were just the kind of person who was clutch under pressure and could...
I was just good at test taking.
So you didn't even have to study?
No, we would. Well, usually in high school, you would get to class the day of a test, and the first 5-10 minutes, you would review a study guide or something that you had.
Oh, a study guide.
And it would usually just be, one sheet of paper, front and back, and that's all it would really take. I would just pay attention during that.
That sounds very easy.
What do you mean? Like the test was easy?
You have what you just explained sounds. I wish I would have had that set up. Hey, everybody, we have a test coming up in 5 minutes, but first, here's this review sheet that you can go over.
Yeah, it really.
We
really,
never
really
had that
helped.
option.
Yeah, and then so when I was taking the test, I would just think back to what we did on the review sheet, and
Why the hell didn't
boom.
I get that option?
I don't know.
So you're saying
Maybe
that
you did, and you just
Yeah, I was going
ignored
to
it.
say, you
Yeah.
probably did.
You might have just crumpled it up.
They never said, here's 5 minutes to review this piece of paper, and then we're going to take it. So you're saying
Well,
that-
you'd get the piece of paper. It actually, I should correct myself. You usually would get it the night before, so like you would do the problems yourself.
Whatever. I was a terrible...
So you would still have to do the problems at home, and you probably wouldn't have done that, Nick.
We never cheated because none of us were, like I said, none of us were good students. So it's not as if I could turn to, Donnie and say, "Hey, man, you got the answers to the test?" He would say, "Well, no."
I still feel bad. Oh, sorry, Josh.
No, you go ahead.
Looking back, there was a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, and she would ask me to cheat off my homework and my tests all the time in one specific class. And eventually it just angered me because I was like, why? Just do your work. Like, this is pissing me off. I'm doing your work too.
If you have someone constantly leaning on you, you're actually working for the results they are not. Sure, I can understand how that would be aggravating. Josh, you never cheated on it, so you didn't have to.
No, there was a couple kids in my class that did, and they had what I thought at the time was a pretty ingenious method. The smarter kid would sit in front of the other kid, right? And the other kid who needed some help, let's say he got to question 3, he'd have 3 coughs. Like,
That's 3.
so then the person in front of him knew, okay, question 3 he's struggling with, and he'd hold up his fingers behind his back as to choose A, B, C, or D.
Sure.
And they had this, and at first I'm like, is he dying?
Yeah.
Why does he sound like my grandmother?
That would be rough if you were on question 20.
Right, are you counting coughs? Wait, was that one cough or was that 2? They kind of blended together.
That's a good question. They must have had some sort of multiplier, right? Where if he just hit the
Maybe
table or something 8 times 2.
Foot tapping or...
But I remember asking them afterwards, what is going on between the two of you? And they told me that, and I thought, wow, these are the 2 smartest kids in school. Whoever figured out this cheating scheme.
A lot of adults were asked about this. Cheating. I guess they specifically refer to high school, but 59% claim they never, ever cheated on homework or tests. 28% admitted to cheating occasionally. 6% say they don't remember. 3% prefer not to say.
Mysterious.
I'm not going to answer this anonymous poll. I'm still worried I might get caught for cheating in Miss Larson's 8th grade English class.
80s made me, 90s raised me. She just said she teaches high school. And the group chats students set up for each class are insane, she said.
Oh, I bet.
100-plus kids. Someone takes a picture of a completed assignment, sends it to the entire group, and there's photo math apps, which have been crazy to see, she said. You can scan a math problem, and it gives you the answer.
Man, it's never
Sounds
been easier
miserable.
to cheat.
Well, are we raising morons?
Yeah, I would not want to be a teacher.
Between that and ChatGPT to write papers for you,
Nobody's going to know how to do anything anymore.
we're screwed in a lot of ways.
That's exactly where this article goes, is back in the day, you had to have someone sitting nearby or some kind of a code system, to cheat in class on a test. Or you had to have a hell of a connection. Someone who really knew their stuff if you wanted to somehow cheat on your homework. But now, with all of the things you mentioned, things that I can't even begin to understand, Chat GPT, some of the other, I can't even repeat what you guys were just discussing because I know nothing about it, but 4% of adults, 4% of adults think that all students are cheating now. 23% say most of them are because of this new technology and all these easy ways to share information with your phone and your computer and your, what do they call this thing? Your
iPad?
Yeah, iPad.
Elementary school custodian Jesus cheated once, got caught, and says he still feels guilty about it today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, cheating was pretty rampant in my high school. A lot of kids stealing answer keys to tests from behind the teacher's desk when they weren't in there.
Yep.
Or older kids saving their tests and giving it to the grade below and saying, hey, you got to take econ next year. Here's the final. And a lot of teachers were too lazy to ever change it up. They would just give the same test every year.
Anybody make any money? Anybody use that as a
Probably.
business?
I can't remember exactly any specific stories. I think it was more of just people or kids helping other kids out. But yeah, no, that was a great idea. Somebody could have gotten rich off of that in high school.
Well, I think I'm giving credit to the correct person. Physics teacher Jesus, I thought, told us that. So you have, AI. These kids can complete an assignment with AI, but the teachers have some sort of AI to figure out if AI did the assignment, that kind of thing.
But then the students are going to get AI to cover the AI to cover the other AI.
Sounds like a mess.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad I don't have to deal with it.
What a hell of a deal. Man.
Oh, this person said he works for a pretty big local manufacturer, and they had an intern who used AI to write code. He would brag about it. The AI would write the code, and he'd proof it. So can you imagine, like, you're applying for a job, and they think, wow, this guy's got some great talent, and all he's entering in is, hey, program me this or that. Some of the stuff you guys have shown me, Dana and Ashley, with the Chat GPT thing is insane.
I've only done the photo stuff with it so far, like the animated photos. Those can be kind of fun.
But all you wrote were some prompts, right?
Yeah.
You have no ability whatsoever to draw or, computer animation, and you're able to do this. It's insane to me.
Right.
Well, we've done that with the songs.
Oh, that's right. I forgot we did that.
We've used those AI song generators where you can choose to write lyrics or just put the topic to write a song about a hot chick. And then a couple seconds later, it produces a song. I have no idea how that works.
I'll explain it. When we get some
excited.
all of the technology that we just covered in the last 5-6 minutes after the show, Josh, I'll sit you down and I'll explain it to you.
I think you're cheating off of somebody.
If I were a 15-year-old kid today, what a bittersweet kind of a double-edged sword I imagine it would be. I was a horrible student in every way. If I were a 15-year-old kid today, my schoolwork, my grades would certainly be much, much better because of everything we just discussed. I could steal the results of a test from someone on the internet. I could use Chat GPT, right? So that's the positive. The negative is with all the social media stuff, I would be in juvenile hall within an hour.
Yes.
So there's the good and the bad.
You'd accidentally get into some drugs. A lot of the young kids are doing more drugs, I think.
Are they?
Than ever. Well, not like weed and alcohol. They
worse
do
stuff?
pills and stuff like that. Yeah.
Is your kid on drugs, Josh?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's good.
But I'm usually so geefed out of my mind. I don't know what's going on.
Geefed, dude.
Medical device.
You get high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
So you don't even know what's going on.
No. So it actually reminds me. A friend of mine was telling me a story yesterday. It was a tough day for him. He had to go between the vet and his work. He's a contractor. He's in the middle of a big job because their dog. Yesterday morning, they woke up. The dog couldn't move.
Oh no.
She couldn't lift her head. She was peeing herself, and it's an older dog, and they thought, oh, no, this is time. And, he loves his dogs. He's one of those guys that he just absolutely takes them everywhere, just every day. That's the joy of his life, his dogs. So he told me that it was an entire day process. The vet's trying to figure this out, trying to decide, do we need to put her down? Is it time? And they realized the previous night he was having a gummy in bed to try and sleep. And he dropped one by accident in the dark, The dog got into it, and so the dog was stoned out of its mind all day yesterday.
Oh, no kidding.
Thankfully, that's what it was, though.
Oh, yeah, he was very relieved. He was very upset with himself, but obviously very relieved.
Probably could have killed the animal.
I'm wondering because I forget, his dog's in the double digits, I think. And so I know he was obviously very worried about it. And, he was kind of emotional yesterday, but he couldn't be there the whole time. He had to go back between work and the vet. And then, of course, I wonder what his wife is going to say when she finds out I think she's out of town, what exactly happened to the dog and why it happened. He just happened to drop one of them.
Damn.
So do you think the dog was having the time of her miserable,
Oh, yeah.
or just miserable, not
I bet
knowing?
it was miserable.
That's what I would think.
Absolutely miserable.
So confused.
Yeah,
confused.
it messes them up pretty bad.
Dude, that's a dramatic day for a dog owner, and quite a relief, I'm guessing, at the end of the day when he finds out, okay. I mean, he's disappointed in himself, but quite a relief that he has an answer as to what's wrong with it. So many of us have had sick pets, and we really can't get an answer. It's a helpless feeling. But I'll tell you this, since my mother has become an elderly person, you should see the amount of pills she has to take twice a day. It's like a bowl of cereal. It looks like a bowl of cereal. It's multiple colors of pills, one for her heart, one for her this, one for... It's unbelievable, right? Now, she's in a assisted living situation right now. But before she went over to the assisted living, at her own home, she was very reckless with her medication. If she was dropping 11 pills into her mouth at one time and she dropped 7 of them onto the floor, whatever, right?
Tomorrow's another day.
Right. I'll get the next dose. I'll get the next. So when we would bring our tiny little 5-pound dog up to the house to see my mother, we would have to do a pill sweep of the floor first, because what's that little friggin' squirrel dog going to do? He's going to eat him up. She is going to eat him up. So, I mean, what a pain in the ass. Hi, Mom, we're here for a visit. And then we get our flashlights out. The wife's holding the dog. We can't let the dog get on the floor yet. No. I have to get a flashlight out and do a pill sweep of the entire house, the floor, or our dog is going to eat heart medication and choke on its own blood and die in front of us,
My wife used to have to do that going to her mom's house, bringing the kids over when they were very little, do a drug sweep for that reason, too. She'd just leave
Freaking
stuff
ridiculous.
out. Bag of this, a bottle of that. Oh, but my buddy, you know what he's got to look forward to?
The buddy with the stone dog?
Yeah, that vet bill.
Oh. That's all I could think of.
He said it was an entire day where they're trying to figure this thing out.
Well, we all know that game, don't we?
You know what? You better.
They know what they're doing. They're smart. They know we'll pay.
You better pick up a couple more gigs, bro, if you're listening, because that's going to be expensive.
F me.
No Nintendo Switch 2 for you.
The dog was gooned out of his gourd on marijuana gummies.
It's one of those where he's so relieved and then so angry at himself.
I get it. I friggin' get it. All right, you bastards. We might as well start heading in a certain direction here. It's Thursday. Oh, I'm sure before we shut it down today, we'll get somebody else up on our booze cruise. We got the booze cruise coming up at the end of the month. Be listening for that. Our next step will be the stupid news, and we'll get to that in a few minutes here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Unbelievable. We're going to start today's stupid news with one of my least favorite word combinations. But I got to go ahead with it. You ready, Josh?
Yeah.
In England.
You don't like that one?
No. It's always a problem with those folks. What I believe we have here, by damn, is a young dude, only 20 years old, who had taken a foxy young lady out on a first date. And what I believe we're dealing with here is a kid who wanted his date to think he was the ultimate bad boy type. And in the end, his fake bad boy gimmick has him headed off to prison for over a year. He will be going to prison and staying there for over a year. A hot first date, like I said. So as their date was coming to an end, and Snickerdick was driving his date back to her place in his fancy schmancy BMW.
Whoa.
Well,
Dude, my brother had one of those. My older brother had one of those when I was in middle school. And when he came and picked me up in that thing with the music on, he had like the tinted windows. It was all blacked out.
Word?
Oh, I thought it was so cool.
Yeah. What kind of music?
Usually rap.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was a style.
All right, so
You had Nick for a while.
I think it still is a style.
No, I said that was his style.
Oh, his style.
Yeah.
his style. 20-year-old kid driving his sexy first date back to her place in his fancy schmancy BMW motor vehicle. He got pulled over for speeding. And once Dinkus was pulled over to the side of the road with the cop car behind him, and the cop got out of his squad car, Dinkus, previously referred to as Snickerdick, hopped on the gas and tore out of there, creating a high-speed chase. No real reason for him to run other than stupidity, and I think a desire to show his date how dangerous he is. And he got things cooking right on up to 120 miles per hour in that motor vehicle. But he was a novice driver. He had only driven a car once or twice before in his life.
Awesome.
He had only taken 3 driving lessons up to that point in his life, so he sucked at it, and by the time it was over, he had pinballed off of 5 different cop cars, and all that led to 7 different policeman officers needing to be hospitalized for their injuries.
Oh my gosh,
Those-
he did so much damage.
Yeah. I forgot. Did you post those, Ashley, the photo of all those cars?
No.
Okay. Yeah, those cop cars got worked. And by the way, cop cars over there look really stupid.
Oh, they do. And their sirens are annoying, too.
That's true.
Cubby ain't kidding. If you see a picture of the aftermath, it's a gong show. The line of destroyed cop cars make it look like a scene from an apocalyptic zombie movie. Total disaster. Off this kid goes to court, and the judge, like I said, upped and dumped him into prison for over a year. His hot date begged him to stop while his rookie ass was sloppily driving 120 miles per hour and banging out cop cars like it was the Corcoran Fairgrounds Demolition Derby. He had very little driving experience up until the night in question. But he wanted his date to think he was the second coming of Bobby Labonte.
What an idiot.
Only had a learner's permit. Like I said, he'd only taken 3 driving lessons before. He had 0 insurance on the car.
Oh, my God. Was it his car, do we know?
Yeah. It was his car.
Huh.
Must come from money.
Yep.
Although aren't they pretty common over there, BMWs?
I'm not sure.
Don't have a clue.
This guy kind of looked the part, I thought.
Does he look like an asshat?
A little bit.
Cocky 20-year-old?
He's got the broccoli haircut like, that quarterback that plays for the Chiefs.
Oh, the
Gross.
broccoli.
That doesn't sound right to me, Dana.
Oh, shoot. Joe Montana.
Yeah, that's the guy.
That's the guy, okay.
Todd Blackledge. The broccoli haircut. Sure, I know the style you're referring to.
Pretty ripped, wears a shirt about 5 times too small for him.
Oh, hot stuff.
Would that work on... What's the percentage of women that would work on, Ashley?
It's very low.
Getting in a high-speed chase on your first date?
Maybe like 2%.
2%.
Injuring multiple police officers,
Yeah.
putting them in the hospital.
Asking him to stop, yet he refuses because he's trying to show you a good time.
Right. I mean, maybe very few of us could handle a high-speed chase at 120 miles per hour in a BMW. I don't know. I've never tried such a thing. But I do think it adds a little extra hilarity to the story that this kid really had very little idea how to drive a car.
That is very funny.
That makes it, for sure.
He had only driven a car 3 times before. How do you call it? Driver, what do they call it?
Driver's ed.
Behind the wheel.
The behind the wheel.
Sure.
Angry bus driver Jesus said, broccoli haircut? Upgrade that to a life sentence.
Now,
That's a popular one.
once they went off the court for this, at one point or another in court, Dinkus blamed the cops for all the destruction. He said the cops were chasing him. That's what caused all the crashes.
Well, that's a good point. I guess I never even
Yeah, it's
considered
their
that.
fault.
Explain that to me. I don't get it, Judge.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the cops didn't have the audacity to chase after a lawbreaker,
Right.
he wouldn't have to run.
It's the cops' fault for chasing him. Because what could he do in that situation? There's only one thing he could do, and that's try and escape at 120 miles per hour. 4 of the 7 cops he injured are still laid out in the hospital.
Dang.
One of them had the eyes fall out.
Surprised this guy only got a year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know the rules. but
I mean, just the damage to public property and then obviously the damage to those offices.
Yeah, he hospitalized a couple cops. I think that should be.
This is a good text. Guy played too much GTA. Yeah, I kind of wonder if he thought, hey, I've played Need for Speed a few times. I'm probably going to do all right. I played Outrun at the arcade.
Outrun. Oh, that game ruled.
Yeah, the hot blonde sitting next to you.
Yeah, you did.
I had a thought and I lost it.
It happens with age.
Yeah, it does.
I'm there quite often.
I had a thought and I lost it. So I'll just move on. Here's a guy now who thinks he can make up his own rules. Not as dramatic as Snickerdick, but here's a guy who thinks he can make up his own rules. But that's not how the world works, is it, Cubby?
No.
He's from a place called Charlottesville, Virginia. He goes by the name of Kevin Cox. He was arrested a few days ago. I don't think the guy needed to be arrested, but whatever. He was. For going ahead and painting his own crosswalk on a busy street. Unfortunately for Cox, it didn't take the city of Charlottesville long to catch on to his silly homemade crosswalk. The city spotted it, of course, very easily and erased it from existence.
Oh, poor guy. All that work. Gone.
So, yeah, his work went to waste. Silly Kevin talked to the local news and he said he did it to prove a point.
After I put the first thin line down, I heard people in amazement say, look at that, the drivers see it and they're slowing down.
In amazement. They were amazed.
He thinks he's like a savior. I don't like that.
He said he did this to prove a point. He said folks in his neighborhood have been trying to get the traffic under control for a while. Traffic is mental, and they can't get the city to do anything about it. Maybe they've been writing letters to the city saying you got to dummy down the speed limit or something. No one can cross the street in this neighborhood anymore because traffic is so crazy. So he decided to take matters into his own hands and create his own crosswalk. A neighbor of his who uses one of those wheelchairs said Kevin's actions are heroic because there's no access to a crosswalk anywheres, and with how fast drivers are going, it's dangerous. All right, well, hero or not, you can't paint your own crosswalks on the streets. Kevin was charged with property damage. He's facing up to a year in jail. I hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're right. That seems more like a, Kevin, come on, knock it off type of thing.
But that's cute, right?
Well, hopefully it leads to a real sanctioned crosswalk. Because it did look like it needs one. People were hauling on that road for sure.
How about a good roommate strangling?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. I'm sure we've got plenty of folks in our listening audience who could tell us about a lunatic roommate that they might have had along the way where they wanted to, or maybe possibly actually tried to choke them out.
I know for a while you had one that you wanted to murder.
Yeah.
It got pretty bad there, it sounded like.
It did.
Your distaste. I don't know that it never got physical that I'm aware of.
No, it never got physical. This was a long time ago, and I'm willing to admit now that a lot of it was my fault.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're a big man for that.
I mean, the guy annoyed the piss out of me, but I could have handled it better. I went into a rage a few times instead of maybe trying to settle down and logically solve the problem. So, yeah, I'll admit that I'm to blame.
I guess I didn't remember any details of how you responded in his presence. I just know the things you said when you came in here.
Yeah, I was pissed.
And how, Matt, you kind of complained about him.
I was pissed. But that was a long time ago.
That was 20-some years. Was
My
that
God, that
shortly after you got divorced?
20-some years ago.
Yeah.
651-989-9393 if you got a question about not a question, if you got a comment about a lunatic roommate that maybe you choked them out, maybe they choked you out, maybe you both wanted to choke each other, whatever. A good roommate strangling story is, I'm always up for a good roommate strangling story. 23-year-old woman in Utah was arrested after she tried to strangle her roommate last week. Got a hold of her. The two gals had a vicious argument over dirty dishes, and then one wrapped their hands around the other's throat and gave her the anaconda squeeze.
Definitely had gross out, not necessarily contests, but games of chicken with roommates where we just, eventually you just throw everything away because it's so gross how long everything's been sitting in the sink. All the dishes you own are in there. Or gross out contests on who's finally going to clean the bathroom because you just can't deal with it anymore.
Garbage out, too. It's like just a piling. It's like a pyramid. You can put like one little gum wrapper on it. It might all come tumbling down.
Oh, shoot. That still happens at my house now.
Does it? I also like the dish pile, Josh, where it got so high you couldn't even get a glass of water because the dishes were like got so high up there touching the faucet, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of what we were like.
See, we never had that problem when I had a couple of dude roommates. I suppose here's the thing. Almost everything we ate was from a bag from a drive-through or a pizza box. Or if we did have a meal at the house, it was off paper plates and plastic spoons, plastic forks, and the only thing we really drank was beer in a can.
Sure.
So I don't remember ever doing the dishes once or ever there being a need for the dishes to be done.
What about like cereal? Or you never...
Nobody ate
soup,
cereal.
Nothing? No bowls?
Nope. Yeah,
well,
every day I went to get a sandwich, for lunch. So that would just go into the... Anyway.
Box Tossing Jesus said he had two roommates that literally got into a pee war They would drink. If one passed out, the other would pee all over him.
Oh.
Everyone lost because there was pee everywhere.
Yeah. That sounds awful. I would move out.
You can't go to sleep because somebody's going to pee on you.
Oh, what are these? What are you, a gorilla or something? That's like something wild animals do. What are you talking about? There was every time someone passed out, someone else would urinate on them.
Yes, at least these two dudes.
That's how you get killed.
Wake up covered in piss. I must have been the first one to pass out last night.
Shame on me.
That's on me, guys.
All right, so one roommate strangled the other here in Utah. 2 checks. And again, the argument started over dirty dishes. Now, this is fun. It wasn't like what you guys were explaining. It wasn't a situation where the dishes the 2 roommates shared were filthy and disgusting and piling up. It was that the dishes were clean, but not clean enough for one of the gals' liking. Do you follow what I'm saying there?
Yep.
That's friggin' a sign of maybe a mental illness. The dishes were clean, but not clean enough for one of them. So one chased the other into her bedroom, knocked her on her ass, kicked her in her solar plexus for a while, that kind of a thing, and then choked her nearly all the way out. It doesn't sound like the victim suffered any serious injuries, and the attacker was charged with all kinds of terrible things.
Yeah, there must have been a lot going on for that lady to snap like that. Either that or she's just that volatile, I guess.
By the way, when I was simulating a kick to the solar plexus...
Yeah, did you break something?
I broke something in the building.
Oh. The one last thing that wasn't broken already.
Nobody's going to notice. That's
Right.
positive. You're not going to get choked by an engineer because we don't have one.
There's some kind of electronics down here at my feet, Josh, and there's a cage that protects them.
Yep.
I kicked the cage right off of that thing.
The screws rusted right out of that deal.
But I've been able to put it back in its place with my foot, so let's act like this didn't even happen. Yeah. Probably the most disturbing, this was not a roommate of mine or a roommate of anyone that I know, but just on the topic of disgusting living. I've been in a couple of real deal, 100% pure, all-American garbage houses. I've told you before, real deal garbage hoarder, the kind of stuff that should be on television. We're talking cat feces on the stovetop. I mean, just things you can't even imagine. I've been in a couple of those. But the one that came to mind while we were talking about this story of 2 roommates who tried to kill each other over dirty dishes was an individual I knew years ago, lived with their dad. And in this individual's bedroom, there were dirty dishes stacked up all over the floor. This individual would lie in bed and, eat whatever off of real dishes with real silverware, which, again, makes no sense to me. If I had my choice, I would never, ever use a real plate or a real fork or a real spoon. It's all paper. It's all plastic. That's how I've lived 90% of my life. Now that I've got this marriage thing happening, my wife does not believe in paper plates and plastic. She always goes off on some tirade about the so-called environment, which I deep down believe doesn't actually exist. The environment is a fake thing that the media has pushed on us. So anyway, I can't imagine if you're going to lay in bed every day like I do and have a meal, why are you using real plates and real stuff? But this individual would lay in bed, eat their meals, and then just put the plates and the forks and the knives and the spoons on the floor of their bedroom and never clean them up. There was mold and dried and just the worst thing, one of the worst things I've ever seen. Now, again, this individual lived with their dad. And one time, somebody said something to this individual. I was too frightened to. But someone said, there's no way you can clean up all these plates, all these forks and knives, and we clean them up and put them in the dishwasher, whatever, clean up your room. And this individual said, hey, it's not my house.
Disgusting.
It's my dad's house. It's his problem.
It's his problem.
You can't just pick up half of them and just bring them to the, hey, it's not my house.
They have to charge him rent or something.
Sorry. The other part of the problem was Dad was a bit of an enabler.
That makes sense.
Dad treated this individual like they were an untouchable entity, right? So Dad probably would have, if I would have walked up to the dad and said, hey, your kid just said all of their dirty dishes are your problem. Unfortunately, that dad probably would have said, well, yeah, they are.
I'll get to him.
Because he's special. All right. Oh. I was just about to talk about a roommate strangling. We just covered that already. Sisters. The ultimate fantasy. No, that's not where I'm going with this. Sisters. I thought they looked out for each other.
Depends on the age, probably.
I thought sisters were doing it for themselves. Who sang that one to us years ago, Josh?
Boy, I don't recognize it, but I'm not a lyrics guy.
Sisters are doing it for themselves. I don't...
The Eurythmics?
Oh, that sounds right.
Yeah,
The Eurythmics. Yeah, okay. I'll go along with it. Sisters. I thought they looked out for each other. You said what, Josh? Depends on their age?
Depends on the age, I think, yeah.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
It's probably, and how close they are in age and how old they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were to meet my wife and daughter when my daughter was 13 to maybe between 12 and 14, you would assume they were mortal enemies because they were.
Yeah.
Neither one could do any right.
Yeah.
And I hated being in the middle because one time one person's way wrong, other times the other, and it was very uncomfortable. But now they're best friends.
You're absolutely right. When I was growing up, my sister and my mother were nasty with each other, brutal to each other, hated each other. And then next thing I know, some time goes by, my sister's about 22, 23, the two of them are living together. When I first heard that, I'm like, what? How in God's name? But,
it's weird how that works out.
You grow up a little bit, right.
There was times that I would say no to something for my daughter, and she'd find out later it was me. Like one time specifically, I was on my way to a booze cruise for work, and I saw her walk out, and maybe she was 12. Saw her walk out of the house, and she had these shorts on that were way too short, in my opinion. So I called my wife and said, hey, she can't wear those outside of the house. What's she doing? She can't go somewhere wearing those. And my wife was actually cool with it. She's like, oh, that's the style, And I just said, I'm not comfortable with that. So I get a call from my daughter, and I thought, she's going to be really pissed at me. And she's like, hey, Mom told me I can't wear these shorts. She's just furious. And I said, well, that was me. She actually was cool with it. I wasn't okay with it. So don't be mad at Mom. If you're mad at somebody, be mad at me. And she paused, and she said, well, Mom could have said it nicer. And then she started going off on my wife again. My wife could do no right back in those days.
Chicks, mother, daughter, sisters.
Here's a woman that says, my sister can suck it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, maybe she can.
Yeah, maybe they're being more literal than I assumed.
No, I didn't mean it that way.
Oh.
Maybe really this individual's sister really can suck it. Maybe she's a terrible person. Wives, daughters, sisters, yeah, there's a lot of nastiness there. And I think, Josh, you hit the nail on the head. It depends on the age, this and that. These two sisters I'm about to introduce you to, if their parents aren't dead already, they likely wish they were. In Pennsylvania's, a woman wanted on a homicide charge pretended to be her sister when she was arrested. No, I'm not that one. I'm the other one, she said. Kendra Hess was being arrested, again, for killing someone. And she said, I'm not Kendra. I'm Kendra's sister, Cody Hess. And the cop said, wait, what?
What are you talking about?
Cody Hess was also wanted in Pennsylvania for retail theft. So both gals have been very productive members of society. So see if you can follow this. So the cops took Kendra Hess into custody thinking she was Cody Hess. Both were wanted. So what's the difference? Kendra Hess was pretending to be her sister, Cody Hess, because Cody Hess was wanted for a much less serious crime. And then Kendra Hess eventually told the cops, I'm not Cody Hess, I'm Kendra Hess. And the cop said, wait a minute, what?
I got lost a little in the middle there.
And then the cops went to get Kendra, and then they got Cody.
I suppose if you had to pick, you'd probably want to be in trouble for the shoplifting charge. Maybe she thought they'd just say on your way. But that would suck if it's the other way around. I mean, how many times have we heard stories like that? They throw out a name, somebody's trying to cover for their warrant or whatever it is, and then the other person's done something much, much worse.
Right. Yeah, my bro Big Al, he's got an older brother, and they look very, 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 very much alike. Now, Big Al's older brother, he got into some trouble for this and that, and Big Al got pulled over for a taillight being out, and they thought he was his older brother. The cops thought he was his older brother. And so they even addressed Big Al by his brother's name. Hey, we got you now, Donnie. And Al's like, I'm not Donnie, I'm Al. And they're like, hey, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever you say, Donnie. You see where I'm going with this? So then Al's mother had to come to the scene to confirm he was Al and not Donnie. Donnie was in trouble. Al was not in trouble.
Boy, if Mom looked like Donnie, there'd be some big trouble in that area right there. Nobody's going to believe anybody.
Holy Christ.
That's Donnie.
We got you now, Donnie. I'm not Donnie. I'm the mother. All right. Sorry I confused you with that last story. It was just...
It's okay.
There was really no other way to tell that story.
Yeah.
All right, before we go, as Josh has mentioned before, some people think they can get away with shoplifting by just loading a bunch of stuff into a cart and pushing it smooth out the front door. They think if they do it with confidence, nobody's going to question them. And it does work.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes.
Those were, back when I did asset protection, I mean, those were the ones that got away with it more.
Here's a puke bag who put a little more creativity into the bit. 37-year-old douche in Ohio named Joshua went to a Home Depot pretending to be a sales rep from DeWalt Tools.
It's kind of clever.
Yep, yeah, I'm the DeWalt rep.
So. Yep. Got a polo on and stuff.
All right, let's talk miter saws.
He pretended to be a sales rep from DeWalt Tools, and he started cutting open sealed boxes of DeWalt items. Because he's the sales rep.
Got to check on them.
Got to make sure all these tools are packaged properly.
Quality control.
He used bolt cutters that he grabbed from Home Depot and started cutting every damn thing loose. He used the bolt cutter to snap open the lock.
He's using their bolt.
Yeah, he went and got, where do you keep the bolt? Oh, down here. And he cut, at one point, he cut open that metal gate they put around the power tools. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Cubby?
Yep.
What did he do? He had a cart full. Once he had a cart full, he attempted to walk out the store with a flatbed cart loaded with 23 items, including DeWalt batteries, saws, blowers, grinders. The merchandise he had on his cart was worth more than $4,200.
Dang.
But the Home Depot folks weren't buying his act. They beat his ass, unmerciful, and he was arrested and charged with felony theft and a few other things.
Well, credit to him for trying something new.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of something like that before.
I'm not even going to walk down the Craftsman aisle. I'll tell you that right now. I represent DeWalt Tools.
I wonder how far he went. Like, was he wearing like a DeWalt polo or hat or
It didn't
something?
say
It was
so.
at least the same color, yeah.
Like the Matt Kenseth DeWalt racing T-shirt from 15 years ago. I don't know how he presented himself.
The story had a picture of him, but he was in his orange jumpsuit, So, but that would have been great to see if he went all in on that. I'm surprised just the batteries weren't worth more than $4,200. Have you ever bought one of those?
No.
Oh, yeah.
The tools, relatively
So
inexpensive.
expensive.
The batteries, they'll get you.
I was going to buy a battery-operated something, and now I can't recall what it was. I was going to buy a battery-operated something until I saw the cost of the battery.
Yeah, they're crazy expensive.
I'll be damned, but they're so...
It's like a printer. You think, wow, this printer can do everything, and it's very reasonably priced until you have to change the ink the first time.
Yep.
Low ink.
I love the battery-operated stuff going around. I do. That stuff is great. I got a couple buddies. If it's not gas-powered, it's just a dildo, or you're a sissy, or whatever. I got a couple buddies like that. Other than those guys in my ear once in a while, I love all the battery-operated stuff. But those batteries will cost you your life.
Yeah, Josh, haven't you gotten all electric on all your stuff?
No.
No, okay.
I mean, I have a few things I've switched over. Most recently our lawnmower, and I don't know if I'd go back.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the other way around.
Oh.
I don't know if I would get another electric lawnmower, at least the one we got.
Yeah, I've stayed away from them because of your review.
I mean, it's okay. It works and everything, but it's just, I guess the gas one was a little more fun.
My one bro says batteries are for dildos.
That's a pretty good line.
Says, yeah.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
And Bader unloads to left field, down the line, deep in the corner, back it goes, and that is gone. Harrison Bader, tape measure blast down the left field line, his sixth, and the Twins now have a 3-0 lead.
That little sawed-off sumbitch has got some pop in his bat. Harrison's Bader.
I ain't mad about it.
He's got some pop in his bat. Twins keep rolling. They beat the Athletics again yesterday. But there's bad news. We'll tell you all about that. I mean, we kind of talked about we'll give you all the bad news when Randy Shaver ducks in here. It's,
Can't wait.
You can't wait for the bad news?
Yeah.
You do tend to go dark at times.
Ed Mental won Game 1 of the Stanley Cup finals last night. They went into overtime. Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight from Oklahoma City. 7:30 on Channel 5. Thunder Pacers series begins tonight. And before we go, we were talking earlier about sisters. Oh, they can be nasty with each other from time to time. Mother, daughter, that can get nasty. Sisters, yeah, just as nasty. Josh made a good point. Depends on their age, where they're at in life. Sometimes the age gap is a big factor. This, that. Got a couple of text messages. One listener says, my sister's a major bitch.
Oh.
Tell us more.
Good start.
There is more. She's 6 years older. She always belittles me and makes me feel bad. My friends tell me it's because she's ugly and needs to make herself feel better.
What's that?
What? What's that?
That she makes her feel so bad and that she's crying in the...
Your sister's ugly.
Yeah, I thought you were just going to say it's sad because she's ugly, Josh.
Poor ugly sister.
What did she say again?
She was crying in the delivery.
Yes, she was.
I mean, I feel sorry that it's affected her that much.
My sister's a major bitch. She's 6 years older. She always belittles me and makes me feel bad. My friends tell me it's because she's ugly and needs to make herself feel better. And also this text message. My sister is the devil. Haven't talked to her in 20 years. I hope she's dead.
Oh, man.
We'll be right back.
I'd like more details on that.
Be right back.
93X
Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog. Comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Expert entrepreneur Ed Milet is on a mission to max out your life.
We're throwing open the metaphorical closet doors of our lives. We're going to be cleaning out the closet. What no longer fits? Audit some of your relationships. How about auditing your emotions? Maybe it's your career you need to look at. Get your life together for this season.
The Ed Milet Show.
It's time for a little cleaning of the soul. Let's get a little ruthless, a little refreshing, and a little real. God bless you, everyone.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
I want to be wined and dined at 69.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
We've had about 10 different people come by the office asking about him. Major outrage. This guy messed with the wrong rooster.
A 30-year-old Florida man was arrested after he's caught on camera beating his neighbor's cock with an umbrella. Surveillance footage showing him brutally battering a rooster named Roger who belonged to a neighboring business. And as the former owner of Roger said, he did mess with the wrong rooster. Roger had flown over a fence and approached Marshall May near his car, prompting him to retrieve an umbrella and rain down smacks upon Roger, giving him the Rogering of a lifetime.
God dang.
It was such an unnecessary beating, his owner, Jamie Carr, said of his cock, noting May had ample opportunity to walk away from Carr's rooster, Roger. He actually went to his car, got the umbrella, and then, after he was already gone, and went to beat him like 2-3 times, May said.
We couldn't be happier with his progress. You can't even tell. He doesn't have a limp. His wing looks like it's never been broken.
And that's the good news. A rescue took Roger. Roger's doing just fine.
Poor guy.
Carr, who adopted Roger 2 years ago after he appeared on his doorstep, rushed him to the vet, where he has since made a full recovery.
Yeah, you think instead of grabbing the umbrella from his vehicle, he would have just got in his vehicle.
And that's what the cops said. You obviously were able to walk away.
Whatever,
what's
dude.
going on?
It's not self-defense at this point.
He faces 7 counts of aggravated animal cruelty stemming from that incident.
Gave that damn thing a good beating, huh?
He's probably already plotting his revenge.
Who, Roger?
Yeah, Roger's plotting.
Didn't seem like that type of bird to me. But maybe he's changed after that beating. I guess maybe that changed him.
He turns the other beak?
I've never owned an umbrella.
Is that right?
Never once.
I have a lot.
Do you really?
I've never bought one, though. I've just gotten them from my mother.
That does seem like something a mom would give you.
Yeah.
An umbrella, huh? Maybe we ought to get you one, Josh, next.
I don't know if I'd ever use it. Let's put a hood up.
What if you are to ever attend a Gallagher tribute concert?
Well, then I just bring garbage bags or something, right?
A poncho.
A parka of some sort.
What if you're ever to have an encounter with Jada Fire?
I'm going to guess that's a porn star. I'm going to guess what happens when she achieves orgasm.
You're going to need an umbrella.
All right.
Maybe a pair of goggles, too.
With windshield wipers on them?
Yep.
A 33-year-old North Carolina mom's accused of fighting a middle school principal and superintendent during a meeting to discuss her daughter's involvement in a fight. Mariah Hector and her family were called to Randolph Middle School in Charlotte May 5th after her daughter got into some fisticuffs. What started as a disciplinary sit-down quickly turned into a ringside showdown. Hector reportedly went from PTA to WWE in just seconds flat, transforming the meeting room into a makeshift wrestling ring. When asked to exit the building, Hector said nope, bulldozing past a staff member and shoving Principal Jennifer Schrader into a wall. Hector then grabbed Assistant Superintendent Jennifer Dean with both hands around her neck and tried to choke her. Dean didn't lose consciousness, but did have a hard time breathing and showed visible signs of injury to her neck. As the situation spiraled, the school was placed on lockdown and Hector was taken into custody. Also arrested, 20-year-old Trinity Nixon, who was told not to enter the school, but allegedly did just that, bursting in with a blend of attitude and expletives, reportedly yelling and cursing once inside. In a curious twist, Principal Schrader was suspended just 2 weeks after the incident. The district sent a cryptic communique to families saying she's currently out of office, but offered no further details, citing a personnel matter.
Now it makes me feel like, although the parents shouldn't put their hands on admin, there might be some truth into what actually happened and that was mishandled, or it was trying to be swept under the rug, or they tried to handle it in the wrong way. I think it's just very unfortunate.
Whether her sudden suspension is tied to that altercation at this point remains unclear.
What a scandal.
Yeah, weird.
That's pretty pathetic, though, to show up at school over one of your children's physical altercations. Yeah. And you end up knocking everyone around the office.
Doing the exact same thing.
Not that when I was a kid now, I can't say that when I was a kid I didn't want to maybe shove my principal into a wall. But that was when I was a kid.
A stabbing outside a Texas elementary school last week happened during the school's graduation ceremony. 5th grade graduation ceremony.
Who got stabbed at the 5th grade ceremony?
It was a parent-on-parent crime.
Sure.
The 5th grade graduation.
Fort Worth police say the incident occurred about 11:30 a.m. Thursday, just outside South Hills Elementary. According to investigators, two parents who had a history of verbal arguments got into another heated exchange in the school parking lot. Things quickly escalated, and one parent pulled out a knife, stabbing the other before fleeing the scene.
We went into lockdown, and several people were crying, saying that someone got stabbed.
The victim was taken to the hospital with an upper body injury. Thankfully, no students were harmed during that incident.
Isn't it something that, for some people, it just ain't no thing to stab somebody?
Yeah, I mean, they brought a knife. I mean, maybe it was a pocket knife or something that anybody might carry, but yeah, you're right. They were quick to stab the other person. They did not like each other.
God, it's got to feel so strange.
Getting stabbed?
Being the one doing the stabbing.
Oh.
Well, both.
You get used to it.
Sounds exhausting.
I like to believe that it would take quite a bit for me to stab somebody, but I don't know.
Or if you were the type of person where it wouldn't take much, hopefully you'd have enough forethought to not bring a knife with you because you know there's a good chance I'm going to want to use
I'm the stabbing type.
Yeah. This is just who I am. I better not bring a knife.
Mm-hmm.
A 55-year-old Florida man was busted after turning a bar tab into a ballistic incident over a $5 beer. Police were called about 2 a.m. Saturday the 24th to McCabe's Bar, where the drinks were cold, but the tempers were hot. According to police, 55-year-old Calvin Gilbert had been drinking with a man he didn't know at the bar that night. Witnesses said Gilbert bought a beer for the man, a gesture that took a bizarre turn by closing time, however. At the end of the night, Gilbert must have had a change of heart because he confronted the man outside the bar and demanded to be reimbursed for that $5 drink.
Oh.
The two started to argue. Then Gilbert raised a handgun and fired at point-blank range. He must have been a terrible shot, though, because the man wasn't struck.
And surveillance footage and witness statements confirm that Gilbert approached the victim, removed a black handgun from his satchel, and fired a single shot at close range, approximately 3 feet from the victim's head. The victim managed to duck and avoid being hit.
I bet that doesn't happen too often.
So not only is the guy a terrible shot, he carries his gun in a satchel.
Yeah, I don't think that's all that uncommon now.
Oh, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh.
I've been seeing that more and more.
Yeah, don't they make tactical I mean, there's a cooler name for it,
Yep,
but I thought they made them for it.
I guess this kind of showed my ignorance. I know absolutely nothing about guns.
I could shoot you so easily, you'd never see it coming. You would know. I had no idea I was going to pull it out of a satchel.
Josh is going to his satchel. Maybe he's got some snacks in there. Oh, no, it's a gun!
The bullet instead struck an outdoor cooler and glory hole a wall, penetrating it before leaving a smoldering orifice behind. Within 34 hours, we had this individual in custody, said DeLand Police Chief Jason Umberger. Gilbert was charged with attempted first-degree murder with a firearm while under the influence of alcohol. I wonder if he expected something in return from this guy.
Yeah,
why he changed his mind.
I don't know. Let's just drop a case of beer at this guy's house so he doesn't go back to the bar. You know what I mean?
A Texas woman clearly took the old joke to heart. What's the difference between a dead deer and a dead bagpiper on the highway? Skid marks in front of the deer. Because when it comes to bagpipes, she clearly wasn't a fan, as her hatred for the great Highland war pipes landed her in handcuffs. The 76-year-old wife of a federal bankruptcy judge in Houston ended up in jail after a strange confrontation over bagpipe music. The incident happened May 26th in a quiet area of a local park where a man was peacefully playing his bagpipes. Then the woman approached, filming him with her phone and yelling at him to stop.
Duh.
Her shouting drew the attention of the musician's wife, who began recording the scene as well. That's when things turned from screech to slap. The older woman struck the wife's arm while trying to knock her phone away. In the scuffle, the woman reportedly fell while reaching for the other woman's backpack, giving herself a black eye in the process. A little karma there. During the argument, she mentioned her husband was a federal judge and warned the musician her powerful husband would put a stop to those blaring bagpipes.
She said I had no right to play here in this public park. And she said, I'm going to call my husband. He's a federal judge, and he's going to make you stop.
The judge did show up at the scene, but he's not accused of doing anything wrong. According to the bagpiper, it wasn't the first time she'd confronted him, but it was the first time things turned physical.
I've considered attacking a bagpiper.
I know you hate bagpipers.
I'd be pretty annoyed if I was trying to enjoy some time in the park and there's some guy playing his bagpipes.
I'd be all right with it.
I do like
down.
bagpipes,
Yeah.
but you're right. Maybe there's a time and place for it.
Right. I mean, I'm good with like 30 seconds of bagpipes. If a guy's sitting there for 2 hours playing his greatest hits catalog, I'd get a little frustrated.
I hate it, and I was born Irish.
You know, nothing.
It's a damn shame.
Never? No song whatsoever?
Not a one. Not a one.
If you're at a funeral or something?
Never bring bagpipes. Ever. To anything.
A 66-year-old man allegedly tried to run someone over with an SUV at least 5 times, and it was driven by jealousy behind the wheel. The high-octane display of road rage and romantic rivalry started about 4:10 p.m. at an intersection in Pennsylvania. The suspect, later identified as Jeffrey Santucci, rolled up to an intersection where the victim was waiting and started screaming. Things escalated. The driver jumped out of his SUV with a large knife and chased the victim on foot, but the old-timer couldn't catch him, realizing the victim was quicker on his feet. So the chase moved from the slow and the furious to the fast and foolish, as Santucci attempted to drive his point home by getting back behind the wheel to try and run the man over again. The SUV swerved across the road toward the victim, who had taken refuge on the side of the road. The driver circled him, screeching the tires, but then took off. Police said the jealous Santucci was wanting to date the hot mama the victim happened to be dating.
Okay, sure.
I love that he tried to chase the guy and realized, oh, man, I just can't keep up with this dude.
I don't have the wind for this.
Why'd I get out of the car? A suspicious-looking man was arrested Sunday night after Florida deputies found him walking in a Deltona neighborhood with a ski mask over his head. This guy's terrifying. The sheriff's office said 20-year-old Jalen Vallejo was found wearing layered clothing, a ski mask pulled up over his head, and trying to hide his face when approached by a deputy just before midnight. The temperature was a comfortable 76 degrees, hardly ski mask weather, so the cop asked him about it.
So you have a ski mask and gloves on you?
Yes, sir.
Why?
It gets kind of cold out.
No, it doesn't. Not in the 70s. At night. He had weeds on his clothing, suggesting he'd walk through vegetation. And when questioned, he initially claimed he was just out for a walk, but the story quickly took a disturbing turn. Deputies said he eventually admitted he was on his way to his ex-girlfriend's home to watch her sleep through her bedroom window.
Here we go.
Something he'd been doing for 6 to 8 months.
Whoa.
Why would you admit that?
Yeah, why?
Dude.
Body cam footage shows the deputies confronting Vallejo, who was found with a knife clipped to his belt, burglary tools in his pocket, and signs he'd been walking through bushes or wooded areas.
You have lockpicks, you have a ski mask, you have gloves. You want to be honest with me with what you're doing out here?
Yes, sir.
What are you doing?
I was going to my ex house, sir.
Ex's house?
Yeah.
To do what?
Just to watch her, sir.
Just to watch her?
For break in, sir.
Break in? What were you going to break in to do?
I don't know, sir.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my, wow. Right place at the right time.
Inside his backpack, cops discovered a collection of unsettling items, duct tape, wire cutters, spray paint, and even a sledgehammer.
Oh, he was going to do something awful.
He later confessed he may have planned to use some of those items on the ex's father if he encountered him.
I mean, just be honest with me, man, because, I mean, at this point, you're caught. So what were you going to do when you break into her house?
I'm not sure.
So the intention coming out tonight was you were going to go to your ex-girlfriend's house. Yes. You were going to break into her house, and you weren't quite sure what you were going to do?
Yes.
The woman told
Boy,
deputies,
this kid's tough to crack, isn't he? he sticks to his guns, doesn't he?
You know, like in the movies, they'll be in like some sort of concrete room with a light swinging from the sea. They didn't even have to get the flashlight out on this guy.
No, they didn't have to go good cop, bad cop on him.
You know, I mean, I guess maybe he was glad to be stopped before he did what he was planning on doing.
Could be.
The woman told deputies they broke up and she wanted no further contact. Still, he reportedly continued calling her and showing up at her home uninvited. He's also suspected of vandalizing the family's garage with spray paint back in April.
Another one of those folks who just can't handle the end of a relationship.
Boy, that's spooky.
It is.
Florida police are plunging into a peculiar mystery after several wastewater lift stations were vandalized and communication cables cut. It was a dirty deed which could have caused a real sewage situation. Early Friday morning, footage captured a man near one of the stations. He was riding a red bicycle and stood out for his unusual outfit, or lack of one. He was shirtless, wearing only white shorts, black shoes, and a red cape.
That description, I mean, you would definitely notice that and remember that if you saw someone with a red cape.
Again, no shirt, but he was wearing a red cape.
That's a good look.
According to police, initial interviews suggest the incidents don't seem to be part of a coordinated attack on city infrastructure. Instead, they appear to be random acts with no obvious motive, committed, it seems, by a caped mystery man. Fortunately, while communications were lost, none of the lift stations actually stopped functioning, but they said it could have been quite the mess.
I bet you this guy also knows exactly where his ex-girlfriend is at all times.
I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Probably just left her house.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a fitting story for National Attitude Day today. A 63-year-old Iron Range city councilor on a literal power trip decided to take matters and metal cutters into his own hands, snipping a tension wire attached to a utility pole and knocking out power to nearly 3 nearby cities. According to the criminal complaint, the city councilor contacted Minnesota Power and said a tension cable was anchored to his property outside an easement, and he didn't like it. Already cranky, the councilor went on a power trip, launched into a meat-saucy attitude, and threatened to cut the wire if the company didn't remove it in 7 days. An employee told him the easement had been in place since 1990, and the company was looking into the issue, but warned it could take longer than 7 days to resolve. A deputy spoke with him on the phone, and even that didn't calm him down. Monday at noon, it's going down, period, the counselor said. The deputy told him he'd face some criminal charges if he cut that wire. The counselor's rageful rebuttal, don't even go there with me. Bye. On May 19th, Minnesota Power informed the sheriff's office the wire caused outages in Gilbert, Bowabic, and McKinley, courtesy of the counselor's backyard bravado. Shortly after, he was arrested during a traffic stop where a pair of metal cutters and an axe were recovered from his truck.
How many people noticed the power outage in Gilbert?
A couple of people didn't even know they had it until they were told they lost it. Today is National Attitude Day.
Attitude Day.
Observed annually June 5th, a day to reflect on and potentially improve one's attitude, focusing on positive thinking and resilience.
No thanks.
You're not going to celebrate?
Nah.
Not too interested?
Nope.
A 34-year-old Mississippi woman was arrested after making the questionable decision to return to the scene of a robbery because she forgot her cell phone. According to Gulfport police, the woman was taken into custody May 12th for an incident the night before, a holdup at a local Dollar General about 9:30 p.m. Investigators said that she walked into the Dollar General, pulled a gun, and demanded money, all the dollar they had. At some point during the robbery, she got into a struggle with an employee before taking off with an unknown amount of cash. She got away with it until what happened next. While officers were still on the scene, she returned, not to confess, but to look for the cell phone she dropped during the heist. That move led her to being identified as the suspect and promptly arrested. Didn't even wait the cops out? She must have been expecting an important call.
Addicted.
Following the bizarre arrest over a forgotten phone in Mississippi, a separate incident in Seattle shows just how heated things can get over people's devices. Police there are investigating a shooting that happened early Monday morning, reportedly sparked by an argument over a phone cord. Officers responded about 2 a.m. after receiving reports of a shooting. When they arrived, they found a man who'd been shot in the leg. According to police, the suspect had taken the victim's phone cord and wouldn't give it back. During a confrontation over the contested cord, the victim was shot. He was taken to a nearby medical center with injuries not considered life-threatening.
That seems unnecessary to me.
Boy, I'll tell you what. I don't know if there's anybody in the world who loses more phone cords than my family does.
I bet I do.
Do you really?
Yeah,
I don't know what
it's
it is.
bad.
My son and wife, for whatever reason, I mean, I don't know if they're eating them or if they are sleepwalking and throwing them away. They're missing all the time.
It really frustrates my fiance because if I can't find mine, then I take his, and then I lose his. And he's like, what gives?
That's what happens at my house, too.
Please, Ashley, I need to charge my phone.
Right now, speaking of phones, right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text the keyword SHIP, S-H-I-P, SHIP, to 651. Oh, you already spelled it wrong?
Yeah.
To 651-989-9393. That's your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Half-Assed Morning Show Booze Cruise from 93X, happening Friday, June 27th on the Stillwater Riverboats. Again, SHIP, S-H-I-P, 651-989-9393. Presented by Warner's Dock and Red Wing Shoes. The only way aboard is to listen and win. You can get all the details now at 93x.com. Comedian Nick Kroll, 47 today. Restaurateur Mark Wahlberg, 54. Happy birthday to Juicebox Jesus. Happy 58th to Broken O Acres Jesus. Happy birthday to you, Tommy, from your bro Duck Butter Jesus. Happy birthday to Scream for Me, Jesus, and happy 37th to Kyle from Zombie Jesus, and that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
It's not like you can hide him. It's not like you're going to put him in your front yard.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Back to Nugent Hopkins. McDavid. It's
Yes,
gone! Scores! Leon! Draisaitl! Game 1 hero!
that's correct, Randy Shaver. The Edmonton Oilers won Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals last night. What do you got to say about that?
Nice comeback. They were down 3-1. Big win, right? At home.
I'll tell you what, it was a big win.
Huge.
Comeback win, like you said. Edmonton was down 3-1. It hasn't been very often that the Florida Panthers give up leads like that.
Yeah, this is the rematch from last year, too, so that's a big way to start.
She's the rematch. Went into overtime, as you heard right there. One of the Oilers, real hot dogs, big money, big nuts type players, Leon Draisaitl, he scores a power play goal in overtime in the Stanley Cup Finals. Hockey has changed.
Wow.
You used to have to kill somebody.
Scored a power play goal in overtime. Yeah, they got the win over the defending champions. Last year, the Oilers fell behind 3-0 in the series to the same Florida club. This year, Josh, like Stallone said all those years ago, they drew first blood. And last night, the boys up in the broadcast booth noted that the winner of Game 1 goes on to win the Cup 70-some% of the time.
Really? Wow.
Question.
It's not the way it played out in 91. Yes, Josh.
You made a Rambo reference.
Yeah?
You and your wife were nice enough for my birthday to give me Rambo socks. And I had considered wearing them to Randy's fancy gala on Sunday, but then I thought maybe that's inappropriate to wear Rambo socks to such a thing.
You should have.
No,
Yeah, that would've been awesome.
You should have.
Because the pants I had, I didn't try on, and they were kind of high waters when I sat down. If they would have been a little longer, I probably would have worn them.
High waters. And that takes me back to second grade.
Oh, man, you got made fun of if you had high waters.
You ready for the flood?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I could have worn them.
Yeah, if you wanted to leave with every chick there, you should have worn them.
Sorry, honey. I'm going home with a Warner Stallion gal.
Save some cooch for the rest of us.
I love those socks, by the way.
The Rambo socks?
Yeah, you guys did
have you
a good
worn
job.
them around the house?
Well, yeah, I've worn them a few times.
What about the
boxing shorts?
The Rocky Balboa red, white, and blue Rocky IV shorts?
They're
Apollo Creed shorts is what maybe we should call them because he wore them first, but sure.
Yeah, definitely. They're a little revealing, but but I do
John, you and those revealing Rocky shorts and the Stallone socks.
Well, I don't like wearing shorts that go above the knee, and I know that's the style again. So anything above the knee, I feel like I'm a bit of a slut.
Yeah, you like to wear the basketball shorts like they did in like the early 2000s.
I've mentioned it before. Adam Sandler and I dress exactly the same.
Yeah, that's a perfect comparison.
I'm glad to hear you're getting use out of those items. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final is tomorrow night in Alberta. And I'm happy to hear that you're dialed in, Randy Shaver. It is the final. In the old days, if I would have asked you about hockey, you would have said, I'm Iowegian. We don't skate on ice. What do you do?
We don't skate on ice. No.
You used to
put
say
salt on it.
We put salt on it,
right.
Of course.
That's right. A friend of mine was asking me about you the other night, Randy Shaver. Speaking of your gala there on Sunday night, an announcement was made that the Randy Shaver Foundation and my hometown Wayzata American Legion are going to be teaming up for some charity events, right?
Excited about that.
And the crowd, we got a good crowd pop.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm. At the gala, when we mentioned the joining of the superpowers of the Randy Shaver Cancer Fund and Wayzata American Legion, we got a good pop. It was like when Mick Foley used to say the town name, and you get a big pop.
I think the big pop came when they presented a check for $5,000.
That's right.
That was unexpected and fantastic. So
we've got these events coming up. We'll tell you all about them when they come around. But a friend of mine asked me, he said, Randy should duck in here to the Legion some night and try the broasted chicken. And I said,
I should do that.
So they said, why hasn't he done that yet? Because that might be one of the events. But I just said this. I said, he's an Iowegian. They don't eat chicken. They elect them mayor.
Well, I guess I've always thought that, I don't know why, but I always thought that you had to be like a member or something.
Some people feel that way, yeah.
A common misunderstanding.
Yeah. And so I've never done that because I wasn't sure, I guess, what the rules are, right?
Sure. No, we get that a lot. We get that a lot.
I get a little nervous if I walk into a
so explain
that I've never been to.
You don't have to be a member anymore. It's not that style of operation anymore.
It always makes me feel awkward when I go to the ones where you have to be buzzed in the door.
I used to go to one of those joints too. There was always some 88-year-old lady at the door who would kind of side-eye you a little bit, and then she'd have to buzz you in. Randy Shaver, guess who broasts the chicken over there?
I'm sure it's you.
That's right.
Well, you have to let me know the night that they have so that I can do that.
Second Friday of every month.
Second Friday of every month.
We look forward to having some events over there. But, one of my friends said, well, why doesn't Randy come in and try the chicken? I say, Iowegians don't eat chickens. They keep them as house pets. They keep them as house pets or elect them mayor of small towns.
They do something with them.
As everybody knows, no Canadian hockey team has won the Stanley Cup since 1993. And that team was...
That's amazing.
Who was it? Who can say it?
The Oilers?
No.
Edmonton?
Oh, Montreal.
That's the same.
Montreal.
Dana, do you realize what you've just done?
Yeah, state of hockey, all of our asses.
Randy said
Montreal.
Randy said Oilers, and Dana said Edmonton. Yes, it was the Montreal Canadiens in 1993.
That's amazing.
I know.
Can you imagine that is your country's sport, and it's been that long since they've won?
Right. It comes up every year, and especially these last two seasons with a Canadian team actually reaching the final. There are only 7 Canadian teams, 32 teams in the league, so the odds are...
The odds are against them. Yeah.
So here's the rundown. Well, actually, someone tell me, how many Canadian teams are there now? Vancouver, Edmonton, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, 5?
Winnipeg?
Calgary, 6, 7. Yeah, Winnipeg makes 7. Okay. So here's how it's broken down since 93. The Canadian teams who have made the final and lost, and most of them have been in a Game 7. So if you are a Canadian
heartbreaking.
Or a fan of Canada hockey, they've made it a handful of times to the final since 93 and usually got gassed in a dramatic Game 7. In 94, it was the godforsaken New York Rangers who beat Vancouver, and I hated the New York Rangers so friggin' much. And I hated that series. I loved the Canucks in 94. Pavel Bure and Trevor Linden and Kirk McLean and some of these players that I loved so much as a young adult. I hated that the Rangers won that series. 2004, Tampa Bay beat Calgary in a Game 7. 2006, Carolina beat Edmonton in a Game 7. This was the rivalry from 2007. This was that deep, dark rivalry that stressed us all out when Anaheim played Ottawa.
Jeez.
In the Josh, you couldn't sleep throughout that entire series when Anaheim faced Ottawa in the Stanley Cup final.
I don't think any of us have emotionally recovered.
Was that also a Game 7? No, that was a 5-gamer. In 2011, Boston beat Vancouver. That was a 7-game series. And then 2021, Tampa Bay beat Montreal in 5 games. Last year, Florida beats Edmonton in 7. So it's been close.
Well, come on, Edmonton. I want you to win.
You want to see it happen.
I want to see it happen. This is the year.
I'd be okay with that.
This is the year.
Yeah, okay, all right.
This is the year.
They've taken Game 1, like I said, 70% of the time, or 70 out of 75 for, I don't know what it is exactly. If you win Game 1, you win the Cup. I'd be okay with Edmonton winning the damn thing. I want to see what Canada will come up with. But I have to confess that I never let the children watch a hockey game. I have a theory that children imitate what they see on TV. If they see violence, they'll become violent. If they see someone stick up a bank, they'll stick up a bank. Heroin, you name it.
Yeah, you've always thought that way.
Yeah.
Is this what Mr. Rogers told you when he was talking directly to you through the television? That on that day you realized Mr. Rogers saw you in your underwear? You've told us this before.
Nah, that was just more verbiage from Slapshot. All right, so the Twins keep rolling right on over the Athletics. But then,
can they just stay there for a while?
Right. Well, they got one more game.
Yeah, just stay there for a while.
Let's hit the good news here first. So Ryan Jeffers hit a solo dong. He came up with an RBI a little bit later in the ball game. Harrison Bader, we played audio of his two-run yard. 6-1 was the fun. There's Bader.
Down the line, deep in the corner. Back it goes, and that is gone. Harrison Bader, tape measure blast down the left field line is sixth, and the Twins now have a 3-0 lead.
And Zebby Matthews pitched 5 innings and was pretty good. You know,
the combination
had a few walks, but pitched pretty good.
The pitching combination of Zebby Matthews and then followed by Ashley's grade school boyfriend Louis Varland.
I think Louis Varland leads the major leagues in appearances this year too. I thought I read that yesterday, that he is the league leader in appearances.
I'll go along with it
this season.
The bullpen took care of the lead. The Twins have won 4 in a row. They'll look to smooth sweep the 4-game series today.
14 strikeouts by the Twins yesterday.
Did they strike out 14?
14 batters last night.
Nicely done. The A's have 1 win in their last 21 games, which ties the club record for the worst 21-game stretch in franchise history. I'd hate to be the guy that has to look that up.
Yeah.
Neither team has announced its starter for the final, so maybe keep an eye on your text messages this morning. But it really looks like David Festa.
It's Festa and Mitch Spence.
Mitch Spence?
Yes. David Festa versus Mitch Spence.
So Festa is up with the big club for what reason, Randy Shaver?
Well, because of Pablo. And that's not good news at all.
It's really bad news.
In fact, this is... I think the Twins, they might be buyers over the next 2 months. At least I would hope. If you're a Twins fan, you got to be hoping that they're going to be a buyer, that they're going to make a deal for some veteran pitcher out there, a Tyler Anderson or somebody out there, just to strengthen that starting rotation.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, to give and Glenn, I'd be interested to hear what Glenn Perkins has to say next week, because as we all know, when the Twins made the playoffs and then they decided they were not going to increase their payroll and not make any moves, and Twins fans went nuts, and we all get it. I hope that's not the case this time. I hope that they will look at their situation, figure out some sort of a veteran player.
Yeah.
They've got some minor league guys that they can move around.
Trevor Bauer or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be Trevor Bauer, but
the news on Pablo
this is
Lopez,
a huge blow. This is not good.
Way worse than I thought it was going to be. He might miss the entire rest of the baseball season.
Well, he's out at least 8 to 12 weeks, but by the time you get, let's say it's the 12 weeks, so that's 3 months.
Yeah. That's the end. That's September.
That's basically September. And if you're in the postseason, I think that's probably what the Twins are thinking with him. Is there a way that he can be ready for the postseason? To me, that would make the most sense, because that gives him time, even in September, to get himself ramped up.
Yeah.
That he could be a part of October. But
that really sucks, because he's always solid, and the entire pitching staff has been solid.
It was the strength coming in.
Joe Ryan had the same. Something went wrong with Pablo's shoulder. His shoulder gave way on him Tuesday night.
Yep.
Joe Ryan had the same injury last season. That didn't happen until August, but he did not return. So David Festa has arrived now in Sacramento, and it looks like he'll start today, and he'll become a regular.
And, I looked at the Saints roster this morning. I brought up all the pitchers. Simeon Woods Richardson is with the Saints right now. He's got Major League experience.
I forgot about him.
They've got the Darren McGoffin kid that has pitched a little bit in the major leagues. So, I mean, there's some guys there, but again, if I'm the Twins, I'm starting to think about, okay, and I read this article last night actually about who's going to be a buyer, who's going to be a seller over the next month and a half leading up to the trading deadline, just based on record right now. And there are some pitchers out there that might help support the Twins lineup. So
I hope
we'll
so,
see.
too. I hope they get aggressive.
Yep, I do, too.
Did you hear the David Festa story about what happened to him yesterday morning?
Is this the wake-up call story?
Yes.
Okay.
So he goes to sleep Tuesday night, unaware of what's been going on, what happened to Pablo Lopez. He goes to sleep Tuesday night, expecting to start last night's game for the Saints. And apparently, this guy sleeps pretty soundly. 45 phone calls from 6 or 7 people come in.
It's me.
He doesn't hear a damn thing. He's dead asleep. It wasn't until they started.
I'm surprised they didn't do a welfare check.
Yeah. They started calling him in the middle of the night. He's dead asleep. Sometime after 8 o'clock in the morning, he wakes up because the player development guy is banging on his apartment door.
Yeah.
He said, I thought my car was illegally parked or something.
Yeah.
But it was the player development guy saying, dude, you need to pack your bag. We need to put you on an airplane, send you to California.
That's so cool.
What would you think if you woke up to 45 missed calls?
Oh, yeah.
I would think everyone in my family has been stabbed to death.
I would think that was pretty normal.
Yeah.
But you were at 45?
I would just assume somebody was trying to get a hold of me. I guess maybe something bad happened, but I wouldn't panic. I do get a lot of calls, yeah.
Okay, because I just looked at my phone right now. I was trying to remember the last time I got a call. It was Monday.
Are you serious? I get calls every single day. Yesterday I got 7 phone calls.
The last time you took an incoming call was
made one
Monday. Well, it's all right.
I got 3 of them, and one of them says potential spam. So I'll block that one.
Here's a guy who's not terribly popular.
No, it doesn't surprise me, but I was surprised that it was back on Monday.
Oh, man.
Oh.
The latest big leaguer to have one of his testicles eviscerated on live television is catcher JT Realmuto of the Philadelphia Phillies.
This is up on 93x.com if you want to see it. It's
a leg crosser.
It's painful.
He took a shot to his nuts during last night's game. He's behind the plate catching for the Phillies against the Toronto Blue Jays during the bottom of the...
He wears a cup, though,
Yes,
too,
he does,
so,
but it did not matter. He
shattered the cup.
During the bottom of the 9th, Bo Bichette is up for the Blue Jays. 94-mile-per-hour fastball is thrown his way. He just barely got a piece of it. Just enough to change the trajectory of the baseball square into Realmuto's meat bag. JT Realmuto was 34 years old.
It's a hell of a way to go.
Yeah.
He died doing what he loved.
He immediately had to leave the game, and he could barely walk as he made his way off the field. I'm sure he's going to live. But we get 6, 7, 8 of these every baseball season, and it's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if he wasn't wearing a cup.
Oh,
he might have passed away.
Yeah.
That could kill you.
Yeah. You'd be singing falsetto in the choir, that's for sure.
JT Realmuto, never going to be the same again. Colorado Rockies won again yesterday, their first series sweep of the season. Good for them.
Yeah.
They beat Miami 3 in a row skis. Up next, they play the New York Metropolitans, who do have a great record. But, what kind of run do the Rockies have to make here to get back in?
They got to win 40 straight.
Hey, just keep stringing together series wins.
To get to 500.
40 in a row? Yeah. To get back in the pennant chase?
No, that's just to get to 500.
Oh, to 500. Okay. Man, that sucks.
That's awesome.
But where were they last? They were in Miami. Oh, I bet they hit the boom boom room after yesterday.
Gosh.
It was a day game too.
I bet they did after the first win of the series.
Yeah. Everybody.
Yeah, I'm surprised they were able to string together 3 after that party they had after winning 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Dana, you might have to take this because personally, the movie Sandlot. Never saw it.
Dude, you really should see it.
And I have to be honest, I'm tired of hearing about it.
Do you think you said he really should see it? I don't see him liking the movie.
No, not at all.
Well, it's
I
not,
don't like little kid stuff, and it's all little kids.
Yeah.
but it's not like Mighty Ducks where it's like a ragtag group who, they find a way to where they suck at the beginning and then at the end they beat the team that has actors that are 5 years older than them.
God, I hate Mighty Ducks.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like Mighty Ducks. It's kind of a movie about friendship and growing up and the summer of your life that everybody remembers when you're 10 or 12 years old.
The only two characters that could act in Mighty Ducks were Mike Madonna and Basil McRae.
Mike Madonna was originally supposed to have all the lines, but the director said he was just too stiff and forced, so they switched it around.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
We asked him about it a couple of years ago. He got a pretty good chuckle out of it, asking him about his role. A beloved Sandlot character from the movie made a surprise appearance on the ball field playing for the Savannah Bananas.
Coming to bat, the great Hambino, Ham Porter! Full ovation for Ham Porter. Everybody's got a phone camera out right now of Ham Porter, who's calling his shot against Neil Lang.
That's so fun. I would have lost my mind.
All right, I got
Great
two.
Hambino.
I already received two text messages, Dana, saying that Sandlot is exactly like Mighty Ducks.
It's not, though.
I don't remember. I think I was 18 when I saw that movie.
Someone else texted it.
in the Bay Porter. Long ball Porter. You call that pitching? He's in baseball. Not tennis. Give me the tennis racket. Give me something to hit.
Oh, that's such a feel-good movie.
I didn't
want to go
understand
home
a word
and
that
watch it
kid
now.
said. Another listener has texted in to say that if I can sit through Teen Wolf Part 2, I can sit through Sandlot.
We learned yesterday they didn't even finish the movie Teen Wolf Part 2 because movie makers knew it was that bad.
Randy Shaver, do you remember Teen Wolf?
I do.
Starring Michael J. Fox, 1985, great movie.
Certainly do.
The other night, for the very first time in my life, I watched Teen Wolf 2, T-O-O, from 1988, where, what's his name? Jason Bateman is the main character, a young kid who turns into a werewolf from time to time. Did you ever make it all the way through that one? Teen Wolf 2.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
I tried to, but then my TV froze up and I wasn't able to see the ending. And the Dana told me that he wins and everyone takes him
one big orgy
home. So, yes, Patrick Renna, best known for playing Hamilton Ham Porter in the Sandlot movie, made an appearance on the ball field for the Savannah Bananas. He had an at-bat. He struggled pretty badly with the first two pitches, but he did loft a flare up into the air, a pop-out. But it seems everyone loved seeing this guy out on the ball field now that he's 48 years old or whatever he is.
About my age.
A lot of love coming in for The Sandlot. I know that movie is beloved by many.
It is. It truly is a good movie.
Plenty of people saying it's way better than Mighty Ducks.
No.
Not as corny.
I could never bother with it. And then the more I heard about it, the more I got annoyed.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, you wouldn't like it now because you've already established in your mind that you will hate it. So no matter what, you couldn't go back now and admit you liked it if you saw it.
It's like Stand By Me, but with baseballs, says Covered in Metal Jesus.
Loves big fun bags. Jesus said Sandlot is nothing like Mighty Ducks. It's a must-see.
It's a must-see?
A must-see. I don't think you'd like it, but I remember enjoying it.
See, I loved it as a kid just because of the jokes and the trash talking and stuff, but now I appreciate it in different ways as an adult because you look back at, that time in your life where, baseball and your buddies and, checking out the hottie at the pool lifeguard, the lifeguard at the pool, all those things. You kind of look back and you reminisce and you get nostalgic about that kind of thing.
Well, it's getting positive reviews via text here.
Well, I still say it sucks. National Vehicle Marketing Jesus texted in to say his lame claim to fame is that he auditioned for the movie The Sandlot and nearly got the role of Squints.
Oh, wow.
That's so sweet.
But he says what makes the whole story even more lame is that I did not get the role of Squints.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys tour around to baseball stadiums all over the country. They got a pretty good gig.
They better not come to my town.
They've been to Target Field a couple times.
No, they haven't. Randy Shaver, they're calling this one of the most heartbreaking sports stories of the year. I want to get your take on it. They say it could have been the ultimate Cinderella story. The kind of thing, speaking of movies, the kind of sporting moment that a movie is made. around. Instead, it will never come to pass, is how they put it here in the story. Nick Barrett, a 31-year-old UPS driver, was only 18 holes away from qualifying for the U.S. Open golf tournament. But he was disqualified because of how they put it here. He made an ill-fated trip to get a hot dog. He shot, whatever all this means, he shot 2 over 73 in the first 18 holes. He was on his way to qualifying when he left the course at the break and forgot to head with his playing partners to sign his scorecard. Instead, he went to grab a hot dog.
Oh, man.
Okay, so hold on a second.
Go ahead.
So he finished the round. Is this what you're saying? He finished the round?
That's what it sounds like to me.
And then instead of signing the scorecard, he went to get a hot dog.
Yes.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. But most golfers know that as soon as a round is over, the most important thing you have to do is add up the scores and sign your scorecard.
So what he says here is, I stood up after I had a hot dog. He went and got a wiener, fired it down. As soon as he stood up, he felt in his back pocket that the scorecard was still there. As soon as I felt the scorecard, he said, my heart went straight to the bottom of my stomach. Now, his partners waited as long as they could before turning in their scorecards, hoping this guy would show up. But ultimately, they had to file their scores because they were risking getting themselves disqualified.
Right.
Dude showed up 20 minutes late, tried to submit his card, and he was told, too late.
Yeah.
Sucks. Poor guy.
Well, that's on him, though. I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah, he's not blaming anybody else.
Yeah,
but
that's
still,
a
it
brain
just
fart
blows.
there. That's just...
He just wanted a hot dog.
He must have been starving, man.
They didn't have anybody that could have brought him home?
Yeah,
it wasn't like he was doing anything bad. He was just going to grab a hot dog.
Yeah.
Bummer.
But you know what? If you're an amateur golfer, you probably are not, maybe you're not used to those kind of rules where you've got to sign a scorecard because, amateur golfers, you get done playing, you go to the clubhouse and have something to drink and eat.
Yeah.
You don't, you sit around a table and you all add up your scores or whatever, but it's a little bit different when you're trying to qualify for the U.S. Open. So
this is the second time this dude, what's his name again? Nick Barrett. The second time he's come very, very close to qualifying for the United States Open. In 20 and 23, he had a very good round, but this happened and that happened, and he didn't quite make it. This time, he had to get a hot dog, and it effed everything up.
That's one expensive hot dog.
That's poor guy.
Josh, a listener has texted in wanting my opinion on the movie Little Big League.
Oh, you'd hate that movie.
Now, which one was that?
That's the one where the kid he becomes the manager of the Twins.
Oh, yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of that. It's absolutely terrible.
Did you have a buddy that was an extra in that one, or maybe it was a different movie?
I have a buddy who was an extra in a few movies.
He was in a lot. I thought that might have been one of them.
I don't think so, because when he was an extra, he was in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
Little Big League was shot at the Dome.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe.
Because I know there was a kid I went to high school with was telling us he was going to be in the movie, and we were very excited, but he was an extra, and we're looking in the stands. No idea where he was, if they even showed him, but he oversold that a little bit.
One of the funny things about Little Big League is obviously it's the Twins and filmed in the Metrodome, but they showed the clubhouse, and the clubhouse in the movie is this grand, huge space, big catering tables. It just looks unbelievable.
Not at the Metrodome.
Then the first time I walked into the actual clubhouse of the Metrodome, I was so let down.
Well,
it's like a closet.
Not only that, but if you walked into the visitors clubhouse of the Metrodome, you were like, oh my God, this thing is awful.
I've seen bits and pieces of Little Big League. It's that same little actor who ended up in American Pie.
No, that's Rookie of the Year.
Well, then forget it. Joe texted in to say there's a scene from The Sandlot where the kids all throw in a chew, go on a carnival ride, and throw up all over each other.
That is correct.
That's a great scene.
Josh doesn't need a carnival ride. For that.
For throwing up after putting a chew in?
Yeah. I put a chew in Cubby's mouth years ago, and you were spinning like a top.
Oh, yeah, I never threw up, but I think I turned green.
Was it chew or dip?
Dip.
Yeah.
It wasn't the long leaf stuff.
And you gave me, you said like a respectable amount.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was probably more than a novice needed to...
I wasn't expecting to feel nauseated. I didn't think that was going to happen. But.
Mr. Baseball starring Tom Selleck. Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of that.
That one's pretty bad.
There's only one baseball movie that...
The Natural.
Oh, I should change my... Now, The Natural is wonderful. But my favorite baseball movie is Bad News Bears. The original Bad News Bears with Walter Matthau is funnier than hell.
Yeah.
There's the scene where Walter Matthau, who, even though he looks like 76 years old already, he was probably 40 in the movie. What was it about Walter Matthau looked elderly when he was 35 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could probably have bought beer when he was 9.
He's sitting in the car with the female character. Was that
Tatum O'Neal? Tatum O'Neal.
And in the movie, she portrays his niece or something, right? And at the time, she's like 12 years old. This is the scene, my favorite scene from the movie, where she says something about going on the pill. And Walter Matthau looks at her and says, "Don't ever say that again."
Major League, somebody else is bringing up. You like that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid, but I enjoy Major League. Yeah. All right, tonight, Randy Shaver, Game 1 of the NBA Final starts 7:30 on Channel 5.
Here we go. In OKC tonight, and they're almost a 10-point favorite to win tonight.
God dang.
That's a lot for an NBA Final.
That is a lot of points.
To be a 10-point favorite. So
now the Pacers are in the finals for the first time in 25 years.
Yep.
With the first two games, like you said, being held in Oklahoma City, the owner of the team, a feller by the name of Herb Simon, wanted to do something nice. The sumbitch is flying every single member of the Pacers staff to the game in Oklahoma City tonight and Game 2.
Cool.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of organization because OKC obviously would have to accommodate all those people too, in some way or another too. So that's a lot of maneuvering by him, but that's great. We've heard this kind of thing before, right? There's been other teams that have made it to the World Series or whatever, where they've brought their entire staffs.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
That's awesome. The head coach of the Pacers, who looks just like Jim Carrey, Rick Carlisle, he said that the owner is just a wonderful guy. Yeah. So not only every member of the staff gets to go to games 1 and 2, go to the arena, have a hell of a good time, drink all the beer, got them a hotel room, and they're going to have to use more than one airplane to get everyone over there because each employee is allowed to bring 3 or 4 people with them.
Oh, my God.
That's sweet.
Isn't that amazing?
Like 2 whole sections of Pacers fans.
I already was rooting for the Indiana Pacers, but now after
100%.
Hell yeah. I want those people to have the time of their lives out there, see a couple of wins. And then, someone texted in about how they had some trouble landing a couple days ago in Oklahoma City because of some tornadoes or whatever, but they made it. Only, how do I say this, Randy? Out of the 15 NBA writers / experts who made a prediction for this year's NBA Finals, 14 of them picked the Oklahoma City Thunders to defeat the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
No.
I mean, OKC's the heavy favorite. There's no question. But Indiana has proven to be pretty dang tough, and they're both so similar. And we've talked about this already. They're both very deep. They've got great benches. They don't necessarily always rely on the three-point shot. They've got a superstar guard that runs the show. Siakam and Jalen Williams kind of, cancel each other out.
That Siakam dude is terrific.
He is really good, and he's been there before.
Yeah.
I mean, he won with Toronto. They've got a good center. I think they're kind of mirrors of each other. A
little bit.
These two teams.
A little bit.
So,
it goes like this. All the 15 NBA writers. Thunder in 6, Thunder in 5, 5, 5, 5, Thunder in 6, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 7,
well, that's
7,
not much.
6, 6. That's
not much credit to Indiana.
Pardon me?
I said that's not giving much credit to Indiana if you're saying 5 games.
Yeah. One writer, Jeremy Woo.
Woo! Woo!
He put it up on the website, Pacers in 7. All right, people are texting in about more baseball movies. Yes, A League of Their Own is a great movie.
Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed Mr. 3000 because I loved Bernie Mac.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I didn't see that one.
And, Josh, we're forgetting one listener. I forgot. just temporarily. The Benchwarmers.
That movie is very funny.
So great. It's Afraid of the Sun.
I wasn't a fan of Rob Schneider until that movie. He is so good in that.
I couldn't stand the sight of Rob Schneider until I saw that movie.
Me neither. He is great in that movie. That movie is so funny.
But who is the star of that movie, though?
John Lovitz.
John friggin' Lovitz.
He's got to be the star of everything he's in.
He does not
He's
have
amazing.
to say a word.
That's true. He could steal a scene, and he has no lines in it.
You ever see High School High?
Some of the faces that's the one I always think.
Dude.
I forget what the scene was where he goes out in the hall or whatever and he makes that face.
A lot of, overreactions.
Yeah.
Very physical overreactions. High School High is not a great movie.
No, it's not.
But John Lovitz is so damn funny in that movie.
You could watch it on silent and get a couple laughs out of it. He is so funny.
There's a scene from High School High where John Lovitz is tending to this scorching hot teacher. He's a teacher at a high school, John Lovitz, and he's tending to this scorching hot female teacher who's been injured somehow. Tia Carrera.
Oh, yeah.
From Wayne's World and she's been beaten up somehow. I don't remember. And John Lovitz is touching her in different parts of her body. Does that hurt? She's like, oh, yeah, that's a little tender. What about here? Does that hurt? And she says, I don't feel a thing. And he says, oh, that's because I'm touching myself. I went to see that in the theater.
Did you really?
Yes. And the girl I was with at the time had absolutely zero interest. And she didn't know John Lovitz from a kick in the ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't a very good movie.
I'm roaring in the theater at everything he does.
Oh, someone mentions Moneyball. Sure, I like that movie a lot.
That's a great movie.
That's a very good movie.
Yeah. I could watch that all the time.
Absolutely.
I'll say it again. I'll say it again about Moneyball. It is a great movie, but it took a lot of the wind out of its sails when the movie came out and someone interviewed Art Howe, who was the manager of the Athletics during that time, and Art Howe said, that didn't happen, that didn't happen, that didn't happen.
But that's okay. They took some creative license. I get it.
And the Twins win in the end.
Yes, they do.
That was the creative license.
Yes.
A.J. Pierzynski hit that big late-inning home run. I remember that game like it was yesterday.
I'm still sweating from that game.
Pierzynski hit that friggin' bomb and then eyeballed that pitcher as if to say, suck it, pal.
Then stepped on home plate and said, booyah!
Yeah. Booyah!
Then Eddie made us really nervous there.
Every day, Eddie.
No, he did that all the time.
Oh, I know, but especially in a Game 5 situation. It's like, if one time, Eddie, could you just get an easy 1, 2, 3 here?
Now, can we count basketball? A lot of people texting in.
Why not?
It's half a baseball movie.
Why not?
That's a very funny movie, too.
I just love that very few people have mentioned Bull Durham and Field of Dreams because I'm so tired of hearing about those boring-ass movies.
There's another baseball movie. Have you seen Trouble with the Curve?
I was just reading a text.
Never saw it.
It's a really, really good movie. It's Clint Eastwood. It's got Justin Timberlake. Is in that. But it's actually a very good movie.
Yeah, when they made that movie, Clint Eastwood was the one who wrote up the D in the Box sketch.
He gave that idea to Justin.
Eastwood wrote that bit and gave it to Justin.
Eastwood said, you know what, I think I'm too old to pull this off. I'm going to pass it on to you, Justin.
Nobody wants me to sing D in a Box. I'm 81 years old. He passed it off to...
Yeah, I don't know if he could get to step 2 at his age. He could do step 1, cut the hole in the box, but when step 2 comes around.
Step 2 is to put your D in the box.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not in the right state, that's going to be difficult.
How about the old baseball movie about the Chicago Black Sox? What was that called? 8 Men Out?
Yep.
8 Men Out. That's a really good movie, too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I saw that one recently, too.
Yeah,
and
that's a really good movie.
Everybody's in that movie.
Oh, what about 61?
Never saw it.
I haven't heard of that.
Actually, that's very good, too.
Roger Maris?
Yeah.
Who's in that one?
It's about the home run chase.
The kid, I think it's the kid who kills everyone in Who Framed Private Ryan.
Barry Pepper.
Yeah.
Oh, Barry Pepper. I think he's been in every military movie ever made.
Yeah,
he's good.
Oh, Thomas Jane's in it?
Isn't Barry Pepper the kid who kills everyone in Who Framed Private Ryan? Right?
No.
I think you're mixing up a couple.
The kid, he's up in the tower and he says a little prayer and he shoots everyone.
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah. What the hell are you laughing at me for, Ashley? I know what the hell I'm talking about. I've seen Who Framed Private
Saving Private Ryan. Framing. Screw you, Private Ryan.
I want to see that crossover.
Does this matter at all?
Seems disrespectful.
What's that?
Yeah. If you were to cross those movies over.
Does this matter to any one of you? The star running back from my favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley, Randy Shaver, was announced as the, I get tired of this bit, but people love it. He's the latest cover athlete for the Madden video game.
Good for him.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
The whole who's on the cover thing has kind of run its course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was another article written about the curse. Can we put that in the garbage already? The curse
we
of
can.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Right. And
I believe at one point or another it might have been a thing, but it doesn't exist anymore.
Even when it was kind of like technically a thing, some of the examples that they used were kind of a reach. They're like, well, he was on the cover and his team went 9-7 and they missed the playoffs. Okay, so that's a curse.
I love the made up covers that are on social media with Stephon Diggs and the 3 women on the boat.
Just handing out those
That's
pills.
the cover for Madden 26.
We never really talked about Stephon Diggs on the boat because we were on vacation.
Yeah.
Was he like doing cocaine or something?
They said what the pills were.
Not quite sure.
He was around it for
He
sure.
was supposed to be at OTAs.
Yeah. Let me tell you something anybody who watched the Vikings for a stretch of time, let me tell you something that you already know. What's his name again?
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs is an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we learned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it seems more and more people are realizing that as every team he goes to. People are saying 42 is a great baseball movie. I
never saw it.
Of course.
I haven't seen it either, but I love Chadwick Boseman, Harrison Ford.
Yes.
All right. The Babe with John Goodman. I tried to watch The Babe starring John Goodman, and I could not do it. It was just so terrible. I like this, though. Baseball movies. We already talked about Angels in the Outfield and what is it called? Rookie of the Year.
Nick, you need to watch 42.
Okay.
42 is a really, really good movie. And for baseball people, for anybody, it's a realistic look at Jackie Robinson's start of his
I'm sure I would enjoy it.
It's really good.
Do we call...
Really well done.
Naked Gun is a baseball movie.
Of course.
All right, we'll call it that.
I must kill the Queen. Enrico Palazzo is behind the plate. I mean, that's a baseball movie. What else did people mention here? Yes, of course, Sandlot's what started the conversation.
Right.
The documentary. Well, do we count documentaries?
Sure.
No. The documentary about Doc Ellis throwing a no-hitter while high on LSD.
I want to check that out.
Oh, God, you haven't seen that yet?
No.
Legendary. Josh used to have some audio around here where Doc Ellis is talking about trying to pitch in a Major League Baseball game while high on LSD, and he said there was like a comebacker that was just a slow roller, but to him it was going 135 miles per hour. Doc Ellis, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
It's very funny. What's your name again over there with the hat? Dana.
Yeah.
If you watch that documentary, the animation is hilarious.
Oh, I bet.
All the sound effects.
All right. I love this conversation, though, about baseball movies.
Yep.
There are more than I even remembered out there. Randy Shaver, I'm going to give you a quote from a baseball movie. You're going to give me the movie. You ready?
Oh, God. I'm not good at this, but go ahead.
I'll give you a hint. It leads up to... It's the last line that the main character says before the climax of the movie. Pick me out a winner, Bobby.
No, that's natural.
That's right.
Yep.
Somebody brought up Brewster's Millions.
Never saw it.
You haven't? Really?
No.
Oh, wow. That surprises me.
Yeah, that seems like something you would definitely watch.
Yeah,
Richard Pryor, John Candy.
I have to be totally honest with you. Richard Pryor never grabbed me.
Oh, that shocks me, actually. Seems like somebody you'd really like.
Never really grabbed me. Sorry to end on that note.
Rest in peace.
I saw, what was the one where he hangs out with the little kid and the kid's name is Master Bates? What was that one called again? The Toy. I saw The Toy. I saw his stand-ups.
What about See No Evil, Hear No Evil?
Yeah, because I like Gene Wilder.
Yeah,
I saw some of the movies he did with Gene Wilder, but pick me out a winner, Bobby. And then Bobby goes into the dugout and gets the bat that he made. Because Roy Hobbs always used his own homemade bat and hit all those, but then it broke. And then Bobby goes and gets, 12-year-old kid or whatever, gets the bat that he made. And that's the bat that Hobbs puts up into the lights, and the New York Knights defeat the Pittsburgh Pirates. And the
shatters the light stands.
And the lights glistening in the reflection of the manager's eyeglasses. Beautiful, beautiful scene.
Yeah, and then the team made him pay for those lights he shattered.
Yeah, but it was 1906, so it was like $9. See you later, Randy Shaver.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, we'll be back in a few minutes here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
On 93X.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog. Comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Expert entrepreneur Ed Milet is on a mission to max out your life.
We're throwing open the metaphorical closet doors of our lives. We're going to be cleaning out the closet. What no longer fits? Audit some of your relationships. How about auditing your emotions? Maybe it's your career you need to look at. Get your life together for this season.
The Ed Milet Show.
It's time for a little cleaning of the soul. Let's get a little ruthless, a little refreshing, and a little real. God bless you, everyone.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show 93X.
Without question, you're a wonderful and good-looking crowd. Thanks very much for listening. We're headed towards the ass end of our Thursday broadcast. Josh, I hope you don't mind. I'd like to go back real quick to a subject we covered much earlier this morning. We were talking about battery-powered everything. Lawn mowers, trimmers, blowers. Hell, we didn't even talk about battery-powered cars. We were discussing lawn instruments, outdoor equipment. Everything's battery-powered. It's a hell of a deal. Hell of a deal. But some dudes don't like it. I've run into a couple dudes who don't like it. Gas-powered, or you're a sissy that needs to get their ass whooped, right?
Is it strictly a macho thing? Was one better than the other, like performance-wise?
I would imagine in most cases your gas powered is going to be a little beefier.
Sure.
And
I mean, I'm no expert.
Obviously longer lasting as well. But it probably more a macho thing. Who knows? I'm just saying. I know a couple of guys who, if it's not gas powered, you're their enemy. Got a text on specifically battery powered trimmers versus gas. This listener says exactly this. I bought a battery trimmer, and boy, do I miss mixing gas, pulling the cord until I'm out of breath, and working on it for 3 hours to get 20 minutes of trimming done.
That's why I switched to battery on my trimmer and my blower. Life has been a lot better since.
It just struck me very funny. I wanted to.
And for whatever reason, they were always leaking. I just couldn't figure it out. So I decided maybe I'm not the right guy. I don't know how to do things. I'll just go with the battery-powered one.
Leaking all over the garage. Okay. Have any of you rushed out to see the latest Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie?
No, I'll wait.
Yeah, I can wait on it. I'm excited to see it, though. Yeah, they are very good movies. They're fun.
I don't have that much interest in it.
I thought that was a franchise where each one was better than the next until I guess it would be the one before this prior one. That was the first time I thought, it wasn't quite up to par as the rest of them. And I think it's because there wasn't enough Simon Pegg.
He was good in those.
I thought about it afterwards, but this new one I hear is very good.
Never saw it personally, any of the Mission Impossible movies. Lots of them, aren't there? 5, 6, 7 of them now or something?
I think 8 or 9.
Oh, really? I have no idea. Tom Cruise has come up with another Mission Impossible movie. So it's out in the theaters, but you folks are going to wait till it's on your television. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, does everyone... I don't think it's been that long since I asked this question. Maybe because we were talking about the new Mission Impossible movie a couple of months ago. But does everyone like Tom Cruise? We got to like him, right? He's got a cabin up in Brainerd.
Yeah, he's one of us.
He's one of us.
Yeah,
I like most of his movies.
Okay.
He seems like he's a bit of a goofball in real life.
Oh, he's totally insane.
Yeah, he seems insane.
He's insisting upon eventually dying doing a stunt.
That's how he wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
I think we probably covered this last time we discussed Tom Cruise, but you know who met him one night and said he was just wonderful and kind and funny and fun? You know who met Tom Cruise, Josh? Do you know who met him?
Who dat?
My wife.
Of course.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Yeah. Well, he comes across like he's probably a nice guy, just maybe a little on the goofy side.
She liked him a lot.
Did she?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And she said 2 words. Extremely short.
Yeah.
You know, her liking him, actually, I think it says a lot. He must be a pretty decent guy then.
Yeah.
I feel like she can read people well.
Well, that's something I'll pass on to her. I hope the two of you can meet sometime.
I hope so, too.
Tom Cruise. Barstool.com ranked the best or coolest Toms. Okay? Try and think of other Toms or Tommies or Thomases and see where you'd squeeze them in if you were to rank all the best or coolest Toms.
Tommy Pickles.
Oh, that's a good one.
Number 1.
Who in God's name is Tommy Pickles?
Tommy Pickles is a cute little redhead with glasses on Rugrats.
No, Tommy Pickles is the main guy. You're thinking of Chucky Finster.
Oh, I was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
Chucky.
Tommy Pickles is the main guy. He's all right, too, I guess. He's kind of annoying.
Chucky who?
Chucky Finster.
Chucky Finster and Tommy Pickles come from a show called
The Rugrats.
The Rugrats. Okay.
Did Thomas Lake Elementary School make the list?
Thomas Lake does not make.
Shoot.
That's a real bummer.
Feel free, 651-989-9393 if you want to give us your idea of the best or coolest Tom. Here is...
Real quick, I want to, before this moves on too far, who's your fatty Jesus? And a bunch of other people have texted in on the most recent Mission Impossible and say it's the best one yet.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
Which is saying something. I've really enjoyed those movies.
Tell them that when you run into them up in Brainerd.
Hey, we had some people text in, Tom, and said that this was, I haven't seen it yet, but they say it's the best one yet.
All right.
Didn't I just say that?
Here is Barstool's ranking of the best or coolest Toms, starting from 16 all the way to 1.
Does my Uncle Tom make the list on this?
I always thought your Uncle Tom was quite interesting.
He's an interesting guy. He's a bit of a character. He's a fun guy to hang out with.
He is.
I've mentioned before, if you ever watch Cheers, my Uncle Tom is Cliff Clavin.
Cute.
Essentially, they're one and the same.
Yes.
Just in different careers.
I bet I would love him.
I've never had a bad time with your Uncle Tom.
No, he's always in a good mood.
All right, number 16 on Barstool's list of the best or coolest Toms, Thomas Jefferson, of course, that George and Wheezy's son on the 70s sitcom. That was Lionel. Lionel was their son. Thomas Jefferson, the
Oh, I guess, yeah, he's pretty cool.
former president.
I don't really know much about him, to be honest.
I couldn't tell you much about him.
Third president.
The third.
Did some stuff.
White hair.
I don't know. I'm sure I knew at some point.
Number 15 is Tom Wambsgams.
Oh, from the show Succession.
Right, from the HBO.
Oh, I haven't gotten into that.
I haven't watched that either.
I've heard very
too
mixed.
smart for me.
Yeah, and I've heard very mixed reviews. Like, some people are like, this is the best show to ever exist. And then the other side of people saying, like, if you actually like this show, you're insane.
Oh, really?
I watched the whole thing, and I'm still not sure what I think of it. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it was like, well, I think I enjoyed it, but I have no interest in ever watching it again. So that's where I stand on Succession. The Tom character was cool, though.
At number 14 on the list of the coolest and best Toms, the folks who hang out at Barstool Sports must be readers, because number 14 is, I think I have this right, an author named Tom Clancy.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yep.
You read any of his books, Josh?
I have. I've seen a lot of movies based on it. I know you've seen some as well.
Which ones did
Hunt for Red October.
Never saw it.
Oh, I thought you had seen that.
I know.
one.
I get a lot of grief over that. No,
Oh, you saw
never it.
U-71.
U-571.
Okay. U-571.
Yes. Never saw Hunt for... What else did he write?
Tom Clancy, wasn't he the Jason Bourne guy? Or am I confusing him with somebody else?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Like Clear and Present.
Oh, Rainbow Six, Sum of All Fears. That was a good movie.
Is he the guy who played around like he was going to buy the Vikings for an hour or so? Or am I thinking of someone else?
That sounds right.
See if you can find that information. I swear to God, he messed around with the idea of
Yeah,
buying.
he did.
1998.
What?
And then it ended up going to Red McCombs? Is that how it worked?
Looks like Clancy put together $200 million, but Red McCombs outbid him with $250.
All right, Tom Clancy.
Mouse and Cheese's Jesus. His number one is Tom from MySpace. Remember Tom from MySpace? He'd been all those pictures with this white T-shirt on.
I do remember. Is he not at a computer and he's turned around to wave to you?
That is a good callback right there.
Well, that guy, he sold MySpace for like $1 billion and then just didn't do anything. He's like, I'm cool. I'm good.
Wait, that was a picture of the real guy who came up with MySpace?
Or at least that's what I've been told.
Okay. Number 13 on the list of the coolest or best Toms ever. And I guess...
Okay, to correct myself, Robert Ludlum, Jason Bourne, Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan. Thank you, brother and sisterhood. Like I said, I haven't read the Tom Clancy stuff. I should, because it seems like it'd be right up my alley.
Fair enough. 13, Tom Sawyer. Modern-day warrior named Tom Sawyer. He floated down a river on a raft with a black guy.
Every time I hear that song, I assume your phone is ringing because Rush's Tom Sawyer was your ringtone forever.
Yes, I did have Rush's. And my reference right there. Was this on a real episode of South Park, or did South Park just create this for the band Rush? I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me. But a number of years ago, I went to see Rush in concert. And the opening of the show, a screen drops in front of the stage, and the South Park characters appear. And they are mimicking, they're having band practice, and they're going to play the song Tom Sawyer, right? And I think Cartman is on keyboards, and Kenny's on the drums, and someone else is on guitar. And they start the song, and Cartman says, modern-day warrior named Tom Sawyer. He floated down a river on a raft with a black guy. And the other character says, that's not it, that's Huckleberry Finn, right?
Yeah.
And they have this argument, and then the South Park kids say, Cartman gets all mad, and the South Park kids say, let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Rush kicks in with that song. It was one of the deepest.
Cool. I like that.
It was one of the deepest chills I ever had at a live concert. And of course, the bit was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can find that on YouTube somewhere where they start the show with the South Park bit.
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. It looks like it was created just for the band. It wasn't from an episode.
Yeah, I think Cartman is like, I'm Geddy Lee, and I can sing what I want to sing. Maybe we can find that audio before the show's over. I mean, I got such a deep chill from that. What were you making a face for, Josh? You all right?
It's an off-air thing.
Oh. All right. We're rolling through Barstool Sports rankings of the 16 coolest Toms or best Toms ever. And we'll take a break after this one. Number 12, is this an actor? Tom Holland?
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yes. Very popular.
Plays the role of Spider-Man?
Yep.
Actually, wouldn't you agree? He just seems like a really nice, cool guy.
Yeah, he does. He seems really, really chill. He is the one that is engaged, or I think engaged. I don't think they're officially married yet, to that Zendaya girl.
Yeah.
I've told you and Josh about her.
Zendaya.
I watched the Dune movies.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. So you absolutely know who I'm talking about. She's gorgeous.
She sure is.
Let's get through one more here just because it's a good note to end on. Number 11, apparently, according to people who hang out on Barstool, number 11, the coolest Tom ever. Number 11 is Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee is not cool. Tommy Lee needs to get a grip.
He used to be pretty cool.
He used to be cool, but now he is a moron that needs to get a grip.
Maybe he's made the list as kind of like a lifetime achievement
Well,
award.
of course, if they're going to have Thomas Jefferson.
You gotta have Tommy.
Yeah, I guess he hasn't been in the news lately either, has he?
There was a time when Tommy Lee was very cool, and I actually had the opportunity to spend the day with him once, and it was just a great time.
Is that when we went to Rick's?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was, but lately, some of the things that he does, I just don't understand. Come on, dude, you're in your 60s.
He's made some bad choices, that's for sure.
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
All right, Tom Cruise is at it again. Little Tom Cruise is coming at us with another Mission Impossible movie. Let's see how cool he really is. The folks from Barstool Sports broke down the coolest Toms of all time. Tommy Two-Tone did not make the list.
That's a shame.
You give me something by damn I can't hold on to. There you go. Let's see how cool Tom Cruise really is. There's a top 16 cool Toms here. We've covered, starting with number 16, we've covered Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Wamgasm or something from an HBO program called Succession, Tom Clancy, Tom Sawyer, Tom Holland, Tommy Lee. Next on the list, if you're younger and you don't get this, why this guy would make a list of cool Toms. If you're younger and you don't get it, ask your aunt. Next on the list is Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool Tom.
Yep.
In the mid-'80s, he had all the women reaching down the front of their pants. Number 9, I don't get at all, Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, I like Tommy Lee Jones.
Who's that?
He's an actor. I've never been able to stand him at all. The sight of him.
Oh, I like him. What?
The sight of him pushes me away. Tommy Lee Jones.
I have always liked him quite a bit, actually.
Number 8 is Tom Petty. Number 7, I didn't think we were going to include fictional characters, but number 7 is Tommy Callahan.
That's one of my favorite Tommies.
Yeah, that's a good one.
From Don't Tell Me. Roadhouse.
There you
go. Which one is it? Chris Farley as Tommy Callahan. No one wants to tell me.
I thought you were.
I thought you were doing a bit.
No,
I really want to know.
I did say don't tell me. I did say
yeah, you said don't tell me.
I can't think of the movie.
Tommy Boy.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's got Tom in the name.
Very funny. Yeah, it had Tom in the name. I couldn't come up with it. Number 6 is Tom Hardy, also an actor, I think.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Number 5,
Hardy's
Tom.
a little difficult to work with.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's got a reputation.
Number 5 is Tom the Cat from Tom and Jerry. I'm so happy to see him in there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Legendary.
in the top 5. I always rooted for Tom the Cat. Jerry was a little antagonistic prick, and I hated him. I always wanted Jerry to be killed.
Honestly, yeah. Same here. I remember that.
He's a little douchebag.
He is. Just mind your own business.
Really
Right.
cocky.
Yeah, yeah.
He did not. He absolutely did not know how to mind his own business.
Nope.
Number 4, Tom Hanks.
There was a time where I might have agreed with that.
In the early 80s when he was funny, I liked Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I like the funny Tom Hanks, too.
3, Thomas Edison. Oh, he was a man out of time. Thought you was crazy, you was out of your mind. Man out of time, man out of time.
Thomas Edison was crucial.
He was electromagnetic. He was completely kinetic.
He did some good stuff.
Sure he did.
They'll sell you on Marconi. He's familiar, but a phony. Tesla, Edison's Medicine, 1991.
It's my favorite Tesla song.
Track 2, side 1. What album? Psychotic Supper. Thomas Edison comes in as the 3rd coolest Tom of all time. Number 2 is Tom Brady.
It should be noted that Barstool Sports originated out of Boston, so that might why Tom Brady is so high on the list.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And number 1 is Tom Cruise. So they think very highly.
It's interesting.
Of Tom Cruise. I mean, I'm not a huge fan, but I think that's fair. He's
a huge movie star, a lot of great movies.
Yeah, I guess. And then if you take out, I'm just hung up on too many fictional Toms.
Oh, fictional.
So
Toms.
I guess
like who else?
I was just thinking of people like Tom and Jerry and the kid from the Rugrats that I mentioned, and I'm sure there's plenty of others that I'm forgetting.
Tom Cruise has made massive movies and been a big star for 40 years. Fine, let's call him the coolest Tom. I had others in mind, Josh. I was thinking Tom Morello.
Oh, for sure.
Tom Wopat?
Tom Wopat, who bought me a Miller Lite in Mississippi somewhere around 25 years ago. Tommy Chong.
Oh, sure.
Tommy Shaw.
Oh, that's an excellent one. What about Tom Kelly?
Tom Kelly.
Oh.
One of my favorite fellas here in town is Tom Reed.
Oh, he's great.
Tom Bosley.
Oh, sure.
He played Howard Cunningham on the damn Tommy Smothers from the Smothers Brothers.
I love the Smothers Brothers. I think we lost half the crowd there, but
yeah, I'm a little lost.
That's okay if we lose half the crowd.
Tom Segura, a lot of people texting in.
Oh, yes, of course.
See, that loses me. I don't know who Tom Segura is.
He needs to be up there. He's so funny.
I don't know if you guys had
funnier than Tommy Smothers.
What was that, Dana?
Oh,
Yeah, he just died. Dana died.
Did I frighten you with that comment?
Tommy Lasorda?
Tommy Lasorda. Go ahead, Dana.
I was going to say, I don't know if you guys had one in your neighborhood, but there's nothing better than riding your bike to the Tom Thumb.
Yeah, we had a Tom Thumb.
Yes, that was great. Walking in there as a little kid and just seeing all the snacks and sodas, it was like an oasis.
That place rocked.
Yeah, I like Tom Thumb.
Oh, man. Sure. We got to go, Cubby. What do you got on your mind?
Couple things here, a couple shout-outs. Congrats to E-Man graduating today from Mankato East from Dad, Bass Slayer Jesus. Congrats to Metalcore Jesus. She's graduating high school today from Dad, Dairy Farming, Sheet Metal Banging Your Mom Jesus, who said he's actually shocked she got through it. I know that feeling. This text says, wishing a special happy 32nd anniversary to my loving husband, Slapnuts. Group Cakes texted a birthday shout-out to the Best Brother Showcase. Tomorrow's our Friday, so if you've got nothing better to do, hope you're back here with us. Have a great one.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.